Hey, what's going on, guys? We're live. Dirk, what's going on, man?
Hey. Oh, it's not.
It's the road to USTE and all the micro stuff as well on top of it. There's so much going on. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Just trying to settle into the weekend finally.
Right? Are you getting some time off or are you working Saturday?
No, they cut out our overtime completely, so
Yeah. I know a
I'm
lot's going
off
on
for
with
the
a
next
lot
two
of that.
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm good. Just gonna make the best of it and have fun, and maybe even get out and shoot.
Nice. Shoot. Oh, videos?
Yeah.
YouTube video?
I'm gonna get the 10 skills out.
Nice. I've been working on something. I'm closer. I need to get some sticky tape. But I cut the body quite a bit so it'll fit. I had to take
Body
off
fits.
the ESC, but the main problem is the wheels because they're all four turn. I had to make it so it would allow for them to articulate and turn at the same time and not hit the body.
How's the width of the body for those sliders?
They cup in a little, but once it's
Not
velcroed
bad.
in,
Yeah,
no, it looks actually pretty good.
it'll probably because it's tucking in like that, it'll probably hold a little better than the
Right.
stock body
Yeah.
because it just barely gets in there.
Yeah. Which is a bit problematic too because wow, my cut lines are way different now that I'm looking at it here. I did not cut them near even close to the same. Like on this side, you can see this whole little opening.
Yeah.
That one is all chopped in. That's way different.
See what I'm
I
saying?
actually cut off that bottom part. The fronts are pretty good. The front
See,
lines
see,
are
what,
pretty close.
see what I'm saying about you need to get more rest?
I need to sleep. I do. So what it was is on this side I trimmed up the rear and I never came back into the other one.
Is it my eyes deceiving me, or is that a metallic green?
It is metallic. It's got a little bit of shine to it. I love it.
Nice.
And it's of course my kind of green. So
Yeah.
what's going on? Blue Crush Mega Truck. It's Dennis's mini me. It so looks like it really does. And it wasn't intentional. This is just the ecto body, and then once we cut it up to fit with this, it totally looks like a King Sling mini truck. Like once it's all chopped to fit the tires and everything, it totally has that King Sling look to it. Which is wild because if you get this one and do it with the ecto for King Sling, and then you can get the J Concepts and do
Mud bogger or whatever it's called.
What's Weston's truck called? Shoot, the Bog Hog. Yeah.
Bog hog. Yeah.
Yep. But you could also do a Blue Crush truck with this, I think. It's pretty close if you did it in the blues and got the skull wrap on it. I think you could totally Blue Crush that thing out. Awesome to see him in here. So, yeah.
Very cool.
I just want something a little different.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, I guess, right now for the AX24 is everybody's going to have the same look. And you read Jeff's comment?
It's in my back seat of my truck. I found it. I've been trying to find it. So here's the thing with that 1/10 scale. He's going to work on for me. I changed the body on it, so it's not yellow ecto anymore. And I've been looking everywhere for my yellow ecto. And I had that Bitchin' Bodies paint job on it. And then I did it all to the Rock Pirates.
Yeah.
Rear end and all that. Couldn't find it because it's sitting there literally on my shelf right behind me when I do the streams, like the videos. It's right over my shoulder, this shoulder on the shelf is where it is. And we went in there today to film a video about something that I can't. The only teaser I can give, and I gave this to you earlier, was this. That's all I can give. But that's not even a good teaser. It's a green. I mean, you could think I'm doing something with this truck with that.
Like a Close Encounters thing or
yeah,
something.
it's not really much, but we might be doing drone stuff again. But yeah. So and we were going there to film some videos, and I'm like, oh, there's the truck. It's not yellow anymore. I totally forgot that I'd changed out the bodies, and yeah.
Ah.
So yes, Jeff. So tonight was interesting because we're trying to get ready for USTE, and I've had a load of lumber in the back of my truck that was left over from the course build, the SGX24 build in the basement. And we tried to return it, and they're like, do you have your receipt? I'm like, no, it's probably my credit card. You can look it up by that, or my email. Neither worked. So what happened was, and this is probably Jeff's fault, actually, because he's bought some stuff from me, and so I've had cash on hand, and I can't do anything with cash because my bank doesn't have a bank in Michigan.
Oh.
And so I probably spent cash on it, and the lady at Home Depot didn't ask me if I wanted to have my email associated with the purchase, because I always put my email on it, and wasn't thinking about it. And so they wouldn't take the wood back, and so we went in. Jeff needed some mighty chihuahuas and brass axles, and so we took them in because we were heading out anyway, and I was going to bring him the truck. Well, I started thinking about we should just donate him the lumber that I've got in the back of my truck that he can use for his course stuff that they're doing right now.
Right.
And so we did that. So we got him the parts he needed, and then we drove around and we dropped the wood. And I never thought to grab the truck that was sitting in the back seat for him to work on for me. So now I should probably just take it to USTE or something and show how bad those tires also handle on USTE Ultra Scale Truck Expo courses, where those hustlers probably can't even get over the little minimal things that they build that your toy trucks and Barbie doll builds can get over. Those hustlers will be like, I want to, but I can't. I want to. We just suck. We can't drive over anything.
I think it's Dollhouse, technically.
Barbie doll house. Sorry. No, they're dollhouse. But yeah, Jeff's fault.
No, it's actually Home Depot's fault, right?
It is Home Depot's fault. If they'd have taken my wood back and given me money, because I had to go there to get those totes that I was telling you about earlier that we each of us get a tote, a 14-gallon tote to put our fun stuff into for the trip. Because all the rest of it's going to be holding all this stuff, which I still have to tear apart. I finally got it rigged out how I want it for the weekend. So now it's rigged out. Now I got to tear it all back down and package it all up safely.
Very cool.
But yeah. Send RC Sugar Mama over with the truck. I got to send out packages. Anybody that gets their stuff in before midnight tonight, I'm guaranteeing gets out before I leave town. Saturday morning, depending on what time it is, no guarantees, because we're going to take it to the post office probably around 9 or 10. And so if it's not packed up by 8, it ain't going. So, but there's lots of pop-ups you get when you come to our site warning you that. So what have you been up to, Dirk? Builds. I have not seen the one over your left shoulder at all.
That one?
Yeah, I haven't seen that at all.
You want to see it?
I do, kind of.
Unfortunately, everybody's going to have to see this too, but...
Oh, branding. Look at that back of that sweatshirt. Looks good.
Probably lost a bunch of viewers right there.
No, but I put a link for you guys to Dirk's channel. You can subscribe. Oh, it is a comp truck.
The Devil's Reject. Nice little skull in the front.
Now, are those splatters or those like stickers?
Nope.
They're paint.
Sure, we'll call it paint.
Wax? Real
No,
blood?
it's paint. It's paint. Yeah, I painted it all up, and then I've still got a few touch-ups to do on the inside of the body because when I cut it after the fact, it kind of split, peeled off on a few parts.
Okay.
But just a few little touch-ups. But yeah, it's all.
Dude, that looks very close to my Ecto build that's in the back of my truck that I was supposed to drop off to Jeff.
These are not the
mine's
final.
an Ecto front end, but I really like that.
This is not the final shocks on it. I have some DraftTech shocks to put on it. Those were just temps until I could get those mounted up.
But I have the same bed on mine. I have the same shock.
I love that rock pirate stuff.
Man, the rock pirate stuff is so good.
Yeah.
I don't have a big bumper like that. I'm trying to delete my bumpers.
I think I might end up losing it because it's really far out. I might have to see what I can do about either moving it back or something.
Well, for the comp stance, it's like a comp stance delete.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I have a 3D printed the rear for the, the little comp thing. So it didn't have a bumper back there or anything like that. Just something simple. But
Blue Crush Mega Truck says a Mini West. It's very much the Bog Hog style front end on it. Because that's that J Concept Creep, which was originally they designed for the Bog Hog Mega Truck body. Then they turned it into a crawler body. And then they made it into just that front clip that you see here.
It's a very technical way to mount this body as well. I ended up with the body pins, which I wanted to avoid, but I didn't think it would hold very good with magnets. So I did do the 2 body pins there. And then to get the body clipped underneath the caves there, you can't see it, but it's a couple of long bolts that just kind of, when I put the body on, I just kind of angle it down and drop it and put the front body pins in. But it's
so I was watching Faster with Finnegan today. Who I actually did see it when they were down filming at Digger's Dungeon one time, which was pretty cool. But they got body clips on some of their cars, real cars, so it don't matter. Real cars use body clips. I think to some of the drag cars and stuff.
Yeah.
When they get into those just fiberglass style bodies that are just, you can body clip those on. Ain't nobody care. I mean, monster trucks, there's like bolt on, so.
Yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. I like the look of it.
I think Blue Crush should like bring body clips to the 1-to-1 world with his bodies. Just get big ass body clips and just hold his mega truck body on. Would be wild. What's up, Crazy Quad Brothers? Cardboard Crawlers RC. Cardboard Crawlers, what's up? We were talking about you in the offline last night.
I'm still soloed, just so you know.
Oh, well, that's cool. I was just the voice for a minute there.
Yeah, it's okay.
But I'm still packing. You were asking me, like, you sure you want to do this? But like, I pack all the time to go traveling for work, and I'm never packed. So that's the problem. Like, the more time that I have to think about it, the more crap I try to pack into my luggage. Like I was telling you, as we're sitting here, I'm finding like cameras to bring. I'm like, oh, I should bring this one. And like, oh, I should probably take this extra monitor just in case, because this one has a pretty sweet way to do like a sun hood on it where my other one doesn't, in case I want to swap it out.
Right.
I just get dumb about stuff. And I've started grabbing all of the different like iPhone rigs I could find too. They're all sitting on my desk now, and it's just like I almost don't want to have the full amount of time to pack, because if I did, the unpacking process would be unreal, like because I'd pack so much junk.
And then the repacking.
Yeah. So
yeah. Well, I can't wait to see the footage you get from it.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's good. Like, well, we were talking beforehand. I just did that video with Jason's RCs, and we shot that in like less than 2 hours, which is not normal for me for when I'm doing videos like that for work. We
Right.
usually have a day to 3 days for something like that to get everything we need for B-roll and story and whatever. So we just kind of made it work. But yeah, too many choices. Like GoPros are kind of coming out. I got chargers for like the chargers is where you really get in trouble. Like everything has a charger. Like this needs a special charger for all the microphone. There's one missing, so we'll have to find that. Oh, it's on the camera. Yeah, so the amount of chargers that I have to carry on a trip like this, and then the amount of power strips that I take to charge it all when I get there, because
Right.
most hotel rooms and stuff suck for
Well, at least you're not
charging.
flying. At least you're not flying, so you
Yeah.
can take all the batteries you want, right?
Well, and we in the video world we usually get away with it if it's
Oh,
attached to stuff. We like the light batteries and all that. They're not lithium ion or so.
it looks like Zach Cardboard Crawlers had a question for you, Tony. Said think about getting a new phone or GoPro to up his photography game.
GoPros aren't going to help your photography game. They're not a photo. An iPhone is probably, or Samsung, the new ones. If you want to do both video and photo, is the best bet with their whole new portrait modes and that for like getting cool photos. But the video modes, when you have the triple lens on these, is insane. From wide angle, like a GoPro, to optical zooming by changing lenses is really the way to go.
Oh, I see. I see. You're one of those guys that likes to keep his debit card and everything in the back of
Right.
his phone, so that way when you lose your phone, you lose everything.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't lose my phone. I lose my wallet all the time. My
Well,
wallet has a tile in it. One of those like
Oh,
that
really?
things. Yeah, there's like a credit card space that has one of the tile in it. And so when you lose your wallet, you go to the tile app and it tells
Yeah.
you where the last time it was connected to it was, and then you can make it
Right.
sing a song. That and my phone. So or no, my keys. Both of those have tiles on them. I don't do the AirPod or whatever the Air tag is. I do the tile. I've been
No,
doing it
no,
too
I've
long.
never lost a phone, and I've never cracked a screen.
Yep. I've cracked these lenses. That's how I
Yeah.
have this phone. But yeah, like this doesn't come off easy. And when it does come off, it actually alerts you that it came off, and then it tells you where it was last connected to your phone.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's pretty slick. And I keep my license in it. I don't ever have to. I keep my debit card, license, and one credit card. And all I have to do if I want to go somewhere is grab this, and it's got everything I need.
Right.
And if I want more, I'll grab my. I grabbed it today because I was going to Jeff's, but I got one of the Code 18 wallet things that spreads them all out with a little click of a button.
You didn't want to. What are they called? Ridge Wallet. What are they called?
You know, they contacted me about sponsoring and stuff, and they were going to pay not very much to have their like an ad or whatever in all the videos. I'm like, not a chance. Like, not worth it. Not for having to stick that into every video. So, yeah, I got rid of the wallet, and I just have these two little things in my pocket. And I don't carry this 90% of the time. I just had it tonight for Home Depot. So
If I ever look like I'm ignoring you, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to respond to the chat.
RCB uses a fanny pack. That works. Ooh, JK says he jumped in a pool on the 4th with his in his pocket. Your license and your other stuff would do okay. Your phone, however, would be a goner. In fact, I mean, look at how beat up this is. This is like, I just got kind of like, I had to buy a new phone, and then the case I had wouldn't fit it. And so I just, when I was in the Apple store, I just got their stuff and was like, I'll give it a try. I never thought I'd be the guy to do one of those wallets. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it.
One of my best friends, he ruined 2 phones getting into his own hot tub.
Oh my gosh.
He did not learn his lesson. No.
Yeah. Well, my problem is I end up with so much stuff in my pockets because just especially when I'm filming, like this light can fit in your pocket. It's not very big, and it does all kinds of color temperature stuff. Or if you just need a little eye light for somebody, it's amazing. Like I wouldn't choose as my interview light unless I'm outdoors or just have to do it. But if you got nothing else, this thing is awesome. What we usually use it for is a fireplace or something. We'll stick it or like a lamp, like put it behind a plant or something to just accent it, like on the wall, like have a little light behind it. So we'll do that kind of stuff with it. But I use it all the time. But it's normally what like a news guy would just use on top of his camera, which
Yeah.
is the worst way to ever light anything is on
Yeah.
top of your camera. But news guys don't care. They just got to get it and get out and be able to see eyeballs. So
They don't care about it looking pretty. They just want the information.
yep, straight up. So, but yeah, so I'm going to take the Phoenix with me, which isn't really a USTE type car.
Yeah.
But I'll take that and I'll take a Mini. I'm not sure which one yet.
So you're going to Florida from Michigan. Are you still in the snow?
It just all melted. We just got rain the other day. We were ice fishing on Saturday and Sunday. No, Sunday and Monday. But now it's not safe to be on the snow or the ice. But weather's gotten warm. It's been a weird warm winter up here. But yeah, we're gonna head down and stay in Indianapolis for a night, and then head down to Atlanta, and then so we're like slow boating our way there. So it's like any shipment you get from China, it's kind of like our trip to USTE.
Yeah.
So,
well, should be a fun weekend or extended weekend.
Thank you, Blue Crush Mega Truck. Awesome. He's just kind of caught us out of the blue. I've still got his hat that I wear that he sent me not too long ago. Well, I was still in Virginia, so I guess it's over a year ago, but feels like yesterday.
Yeah, you just got back not too long ago from a big event. Now you're heading out to another one.
Just Monster Jam?
Yeah, but you work that though, didn't you?
Technically, according to taxes, yes.
And it kind of worked you, didn't it?
It did a little bit. I mean, so yeah, it was kind of for me a business type event like you'd go to. Yeah. Horizon Hobby was there, Monster Jam was there, people, just connections, and then I filmed some stuff for the giveaway that Horizon did just on my phone. I didn't know it was going to be, but so I filmed some stuff, posted some content from it, and I still have a video to edit from it when I'm down in USTE. If I get my other edits I have to done.
I know you're going to be so busy shooting and everything. I assume you're not doing any live footage from there.
Maybe. We'll see. Some of the events, but it's tough. Probably not anything like that would be like noteworthy because I'll be filming those. Right. Like the buggy races and the monster truck races, and like when they do like those specific event things, I might from the trail just go live for a little bit,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on a contract with them to do some of this stuff, but I also have some free time, so I'll probably at some point. It's going to be tough though because of the camera is like freaking huge. Like you don't just. It's going to be hard to. Like that's like a 16-pound bowling ball. I need to weigh it. It's stupid heavy. It might be more than a 16-pound bowling ball I'm going to be carrying around.
I wouldn't measure it in grams.
Right?
I know you've gotten used to that, but
yeah. So Blue Crush Mega Truck, thank you so much, dude. $50 super sticker. Dang. I need to get out. I hope I get out to a show where you guys are running some mega trucks soon. That's my next thing. And I know they do a bunch of them here in Michigan, so I hope you're coming up for one of those. It'll make it easier for me to get there. But Travis Tracy, yeah, man, wall mounts. We got wall mounts now for the TRX4M, which also fit the something else. I think it fits the Hobby Plus axles. Both work together. And then we've got the ones for the Max Smasher, so the FMS axles, and then we've got one for the SCX24 now. If you like to hang them on your walls.
Have you done anything with that Smasher yet?
Why would you do that to me?
I'm sorry. You're going to learn your lesson. Why would you invite me?
Bus.
It makes
no, I haven't done anything with that Max Smasher yet.
I mean, I know you're very busy.
I have 2 of them that I haven't done anything with yet.
Now, I didn't say that.
Well, I have 2 of them.
Yeah.
One of them is hanging on the wall already. The other one is still in the box. Great. Well, it doesn't have any stickers on it yet either. I've got the stickers, the Bigfoot stickers that go on it, and they haven't gone on it. It's been that bad here. Yeah. So, I mean, how are your builds going? You said I was gonna showcase them, and you're like, they look like crap.
No,
right now.
I got a bunch torn apart. And
right.
I just didn't have them ready to show. And when you mentioned this to me earlier today, I was in the middle of a not good time at work where they were throwing a bunch of work at me, and my computer was not cooperating and had to get an engineer involved. So
nice.
Did you see what Unknown said?
No, I'll look though. Michigan, most likely place to see Blue Crush in the mud 2023. Wicked. All right. I'm all for that. Go Mango's in the house. Trail Crawlers RC. I've missed a bunch of people. There's a bunch of people popping in here. And I'm ignoring Unknown RC at the point. Oh, I love you, Dirk. I don't know about Tony yet. I haven't seen Lefty in here yet. Come on, Tony. I like wine stock, but I'm loving my Max Smasher, and I have all kinds of ideas for it. They're slow. Don't kid yourself, Jeff. Unless you like slow. And then you don't like monster trucks.
Yeah, but he does some amazing stuff that he was doing.
He does, but he might hate monster trucks if you like slow.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, he might build monster trucks, but he might hate them at the same time. That's all I'm saying. I'm just kidding with him. That's it. Tony is cool. Dirk is a little shady. I like Trail Critter RC more than I like Unknown RC. So
he's not far off.
He's not. It's the Canadian in him.
Oh, Dustin showed up. Upper left is here.
Oh, what's up, Dustin? I've binged all your podcasts I've missed. You rock. Wow. So the podcast game has been not good on my standpoint, but people like it. And I don't know. I need to get to it more often. It's the easiest thing to neglect because when you just think about sitting down and talking for an hour,
yeah,
there's so many other things you can be doing when you're doing that. It usually comes down to that being the thing to get cut. But I get so many people that comment hey, man, found you from your podcast or whatever. So I'm not a big podcast listener. So I guess I don't get how there's that many people that listen to it. So I need to give it more attention for 2023. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe tomorrow I'll bang one out before we go to USTE. I'm not banging. I'm being easy on the Canadians. I'm saying he's more caring than Unknown RC. He's more sensible as a Canadian. That's all I'm saying.
Realist, yes.
Yeah. And I mean, a radioactive scale RC, I don't know how Canadian you are coming at me like that, bro. Because normally you should be sorry. We're sorry we're not treating you exactly like you'd want to be. So we'll do better next time. But no, you're coming at me, bro. I don't get it.
Dwayne's going to get you, man.
It's not very Canadian of you, Radioactive Scale RC. That's all I'm going to say. Not very Canadian.
Yeah.
Swampers RC, are you making it to USTE? I know you had some truck problems.
He is.
He is making it. Okay. Pat Smage, more podcasts would be sweet. Okay.
He's going to be there every day.
We'll be definitely getting some Tim Hortons on our way down. Coffee. I'd prefer Tim Hortons coffee over Dunkin' Donuts any day of the year, not the week, the year. So thank you, Canadians, for that. Canada.
So, Tony, you have a podcast. Do you have a YouTube channel?
I started one. I haven't given it too much attention recently, but
yeah. No, that sounds like me.
Yeah, yours has been where you been?
Yeah, I finally posted a video yesterday.
I thought California got swallowed by the Kraken or something.
That'd be better than what's going on right now.
Well, it's not so bad here on the East Coast, so we'll be or Midwest, so I can't relate. Although I'm in the the outskirts of the Midwest here in Michigan, so we're pretty much New York at this point.
So is the weather changing?
Love the King videos. Thanks, man.
Is the weather changing enough that you and the boys will be able to get back out fishing at home?
We went out ice fishing on Sunday.
Oh, that's right. You told me that.
It was a little sketch. I'm not going to lie. Lots of cracks in the ice. But you're telling yourself, those are frozen cracks. Those cracked last time it got warm, and now they're pretty solid. But let's just go around them just to be safe.
I don't know if you understand the structural integrity of a crack. It's not frozen. It's not still holding.
Well, I mean, they were dark cracks, so they were filled with water and refrozen. But you're just kind of you still stay clear of them just in case, because there's a hole that started that somebody had. Yeah.
I'm not going to touch that.
Yeah. Well, I was going to try not to go there. But yeah, we caught some fish. It was good. I caught a beautiful, bluegill / something. I can't think of what it's called. Beautiful, beautiful color and patterning, and good size for a little bluegill, big bluegill.
Huh.
But we let them go. We didn't catch enough. They weren't biting like crazy, so it's not like dinner. So they all went back. It was just fun to get out, and we only had an hour and a half. We were just making. I literally got back from Monster Jam, and I was out on the ice 30 minutes later with my son.
Wow.
He was just raring to go. So I turned and burned, grabbed your stuff.
I would say I don't know how you have the energy to do all that you do, but you're quite a bit younger than I am. So
yeah, when your body learns not to require sleep, it learns.
I still don't get sleep, but
dark crack.
Yeah, you said it.
Swampers wrote it. Crappie, yes, crappie. It wasn't a crappie. It was oh, now you're gonna make me look. Dirk, you entertain for a little bit.
All right. I can't promise it's gonna go well, but I will. Come on, chat. Let's get this thing and throw it off the rails here.
Pumpkin seed.
Oh, that was too quick.
Yeah.
That's the name of a fish?
Yeah, the pumpkin seed. It's kind of got a different patterning on the side, very spotted. Yeah. It was beautiful. The coloration of it was very nice. So yeah. It was a little cold. I told my son, I'm you're not gonna wear I put on at least my flannel pants, the pants are aligned with flannel.
Yeah.
And he's just in his jeans. I'm you're not gonna wear anything under that? Put on some something under that. And he's no, it's warm out. Man, you hit that ice and there's nothing stopping the breeze, and he was cold quick. Yeah. You should come ice fishing sometime. It's cold. Nothing like sitting on a sheet of ice and trying to stay warm.
Sounds like a blast.
So what is your latest, or what are the things that you're working on as far as your trucks right now? 24 scale mainly.
The AX24 is for
Okay.
sure. I have the two. One is more of a heavier modification, no real limitations putting on it, even though so far I haven't really put a lot of money into it to get it to where I like what it's doing. Still probably going to go brushless at some point, but I want to do it in stages. And then the other one is a free or cheap mods uh, build that um, I've got going as well, and it's doing pretty good as well. It's definitely not the performer the other one is, but it's definitely way better than right out of the box. Although they're not horrible out of the box, even though a lot of people weren't fond of them. But yeah, that's the two routes I'm going with that. The cheap one, cheap version, I have my 30-cent mod, which is 3 nickels in each slider, shoe glued in for boulder, for weights down low.
Yeah.
That helped somewhat. But the other one, yes, the boulder bars, unlike if somebody has boulder bars off an old build, they will fit right down inside those. You just shoe glue them in there. They fit down in there, and that's a nice, easy, quick weight to throw in.
Do you have to get rid of the lights, or no? They tuck under them.
Oh, nope, they're right in between them.
I sell boulder bars, so if you don't have boulder bars already, get them at ccxrc.com. Not this week, but next week. Or you can get them this week. They just won't ship until next week or the week after. But mine, dude. So Go Man Go's in here, and my truck handled like absolute trash last week. I got a 76, and I hated every minute of driving it, like absolutely. I'd upgraded the motor, and I put these Trio wheels on, but I had those Endura tires. Oh,
So what motor did you upgrade to?
Baby Goliath.
Oh, that's probably the problem right there.
It fits direct in. It was the tires that sucked so bad. They were so bad. And then I also added that brass skid plate I had, but forgot to put in when I did the swap over of the motor.
Right.
And totally different truck. These Proline Baja Pro X's are pretty sweet.
I still got to get a set of those Baja Pro X's. I'm not going to mess with the brass skid.
Yeah.
Because
you have the boulder bars, so you don't need it.
Not just that. I also have I had one I pulled out of another rig, the Mofo brass bulletproof transmission. So that's giving me my.
Oh yeah, so you got some weight there. You don't want to do more than that.
No.
Above the shocks, yeah.
Yeah.
So it does, like people have said, it gets rid of that bounce immediately, and it also just the angle for where it wants to just land back down.
Oh yeah.
That belly just helps drag it down. It was sweet. I didn't do any shock mods, whatever, and it was. So I hit 2 gates. One was just me being a punk and being like, I got this. And I should have taken a winch, but I'm like, nah, I'm going to totally get this. And then it hit. The other one was dumb, and it pissed me off. Like that one was like, okay, it's my own fault. But I'm in the gate, like inside it working on stuff. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to force steer this around, and it'll drag right around. But I hit the wrong button, and it went bam, and the wheels just hit the gate. Like they just turned the wrong way. I just hit the wrong button. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It was awesome.
You still have the stock steering links on there?
Yeah, stock steering links, stock servos even, bro. Like the servos aren't bad. And one of the biggest issues with switching them is trying to center the rear one, because they made no accommodation for trimming the rear.
Yeah. Now you're sounding like everybody else before it came out.
I'm trying to make this awkward. Like, Spectrum, this is awkward, guys. Like,
I am not.
there's so many mods that people do where they can flip switches and then it changes the trim to do the different feature. There should have been an accommodation. If you're going to put 4 steer on a truck and not make a way for people to trim the rear end, that is weird.
I am not the biggest fan of the new electronics, meaning the ESC, because it's not as smooth as the V2. The V2 was a nice upgrade. And now,
so Matt was from Scale Builders Guild, was very nice about my motor and how much better it was in the stock one. But I was trying to tell him, like, I don't like it in this truck. Like, there's like this leg in the controller, and then it's like all I do is I jump the whole thing. It goes like this.
Yeah.
I drive it in little. It's like it's clicking a keyboard thing to drive your truck. Click, 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 click.
That's the next stage of my changes. Is I'm going to change out electronics, and I'm going to go brushless. Is probably the next stage that I'll do. The other one's going to stay all stock electronics, everything all the way through. Just everything is cheap and not buying a bunch of stuff to throw on it, just to show 2 different ways to do things and see how close I can get that one in the end.
Yeah. James' Garage. See you, man. Have fun.
See you, James.
Everybody come with me to the end of your comment. Yeah. That's what I feel like you're getting at. So... you put a FureTech ESC in and it would be a lot better. There's just something with it. Now the problem is it's doing extra things, and I think I'm going to throw a FureTech avatar in it. One of their receivers.
Do those transmitters have
multiple channels?
Another channel dial, or is it a push button for the like channel 3, 4, or something like that?
You can choose how it's used. I mean, it's pretty. There's a lot of features on it, so you can trim them all and stuff. So you could trim the channels and.
Right.
But I was just thinking because I don't know what button I would use on it. There's not really a button I would use to switch them on or off. That's a good question.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Other than toggling the radio, that's weird.
Yeah, I know some people when they do add a different radio to different rigs, and they add the rear steer, they put it on a channel that's actually controlled by a knob, so they could actually adjust how far they're actually turning the rear as they go to get even more out of it. As far as more flexibility of how far that rear is going to swing.
So what I think it'll do is I think I'll have to use one of these switches on the top.
Yeah.
And it's got button 1 and 2. And so I think that's what I have to use, but that's not super ideal, honestly. Because I don't actually feel like a center point in that button. That might be a problem.
Yeah, when I do my upgrade, I'm probably going to go to my GT5. And
is that the Noble?
No, this is the cheaper version, but it's great.
That's what comes with the Raminator, with the little flip down. I think so. Yeah, I don't love the menu on it. I don't love you can get it done, but yeah, it's this menu, like for all the hate that this thing gets.
Yeah.
I'm going to just show it here because I have a captive audience.
Why don't you solo yourself so it's bigger?
That's fine. There are so many features in this thing. Reverse trims, endpoints, exponentials, model. And then once you go into the model, there's multiple different things inside of there. Naming, binding, servo output, how many hertz, like what kind of... I mean, there's a lot of features in this. Crawler mix, you can do different mixes in here. So, I mean, it's a pretty full feature little radio, and people are just like, oh, it's just that one. They want to say it's this one, and it is. The shell of these are exactly the same,
Yeah, but
right?
it's got way more features too.
There's way more programming that went into this than this. And so when you're saying that this is a $30 radio and that they're, you know,
It's because it's got
moaning, they're
$30 worth of electronics in it.
yeah, there's way more that goes into this that people don't realize with the joystick and how it all works. And either way, these are an awesome $30 radio. Don't get me wrong. This radio
Yeah.
for $30 all day long is I buy the receivers for these because these come with the 2-in-1 units, like the AE and the low-C ones.
Yeah.
And when I take it out of that 2-in-1 ESC receiver combo, I buy those turbo or whatever receivers for them so I can run these in trucks because they're that. The form factor of this is my favorite of any radio that I own. Any radio that I own, from the DX4R Pros to the DX5 to anything else that I've driven. This feels the best in my hand of any radio, and especially if you want a one-handed drive. I mean, there's nothing better to one-handed drive than this. Plus, I do this and it'll never turn on in my backpack or in my car and start beeping at me that it's been left on.
So
And
that radio,
it packs so small. Like,
you talked about that radio feeling so good in your hand as far as one hand driving everything. How about that compared to a larger version like the one that comes with the RTR Vanquish?
the Vanquish is a bit of a stretch. You can do it.
Is it? Okay.
Yep. It's a bit of a stretch with your thumb. But I mean, this one is like, it's almost like it's right there. Like I can put my whole thumb on top of it. But if you get it on the edge here, you can do full travel without even thinking about it.
Yeah, Radioactive Scale is praising that radio as well.
So I know there's been a lot of shade thrown at it even recently. But I mean, I've had this for over a year. Go Man Go can attest to. I bring it every week and I run it on all my trucks. I got 8 trucks loaded onto this thing.
It holds 10 models, or
yeah, it'll do 10 models. Granted, there are better, like more featured radios out there. Like the Noble has way more features,
yeah,
but they cost a lot more. Like people don't talk about that. Like for one that has the programmability that this has, and the $150 comes with a receiver, and their receivers cost $30 or something for them. So it's like $120 for the controller. But anyway, that's just somebody brought it up, and it's been on my mind because so many people do try to make a comparison between these.
Right.
And other than just the shell, but you could take a DX5 rugged shell and put like crap in it like this, and it's not nearly the same thing. You could sell it for $30, but the second you do this, it's a different.
Well, it's the same thing. Like you can get a lot of radios, like in the FMS rigs. It's the exact same radio, but if they pair it with an ESC receiver, like the one that was in the FCX24, the electronics in that are great. The one that they put in the T-Finder for Hobby Plus, those electronics are great. But then there were other models where they paired it with a different set of electronics in the ESC receiver that were crap.
Yeah.
So it's just,
Go Man Go says micro Komodos are sold out everywhere. I've got them, but I've only got them attached to the Stellar transmission because there's so many people would buy them, and then they realize they needed a motor plate, and then it was just way easier to just drop it in.
Can you get the motor plate separate from Furitech?
Used to be, yeah. You'd buy the motor, and then you'd buy a.
Do you like that transmission, the Stellar?
I have it. Anytime I put in their stuff, I put their transmission in. It literally bolts in, 3 bolts in, and plug it in, and you're going, right? So it's like ease of use for people is like crazy when you get the Stellar transmission, plus metal gears, metal case. It's just a really sharp drop and play, but it's $100. But that versus the headache of me selling just the motors alone,
right?
And then like, oh yeah, you got to get this pinion. Oh, now you need to get this spur gear because it's not the same teeth. That's why my motor. Like I'm not trying to be a store. Like my goal, I have a shop now on my website. I'm not trying to be a sell everything that you could ever want. There's a lot of stuff like Mofo. When you buy his, you get to choose all these options.
Yeah.
Mine is all about plug and play. Like I am trying to get rid of any of the headache from people trying to do it, because if you're new to this and you're trying to figure it all out, it's very confusing, especially for me. Somebody who's been in it but isn't a car guy and isn't like, I don't follow all the different forums and videos and all that of like like 10 different stages you have to do to mod your truck to put this in. Like when the first Komodo came out, there was so much you had to do, and like motor plates, and that's where the monster truck stuff was like ridiculous, trying to do any of the mini monster trucks, because any motor you tried to put in would not fit into the chassis. They wouldn't, there was no motor plates for them, and it was just like this big headache. And so for me, like when I had my motor made, it was like I want it to be smooth, so I worked with them on RPMs until we got one that I liked, and I'm like, it has to bolt onto the plate that they've got. I want the spur, the pinion to be like direct fit. Yes, we'll do like a copper one or a brass one instead of the plastic, but like bolt, plug and play, let's go. Like stop making things so difficult to like kind of get things, because you spend weeks. Like I would get some, it would literally take me weeks to get the truck to the point where I could show it, because I was chasing one little thing, then the next little piece. And then you get like, oh, well, the screws for the motor don't fit. Now what screw do I need to get to mount this motor to this? Oh, now it doesn't fit the plate, so we got to drill the plate out. And it's just like,
yeah, no, it
so,
does.
and I didn't want to be customer support. Like that's my biggest thing. The more problems, the more that I have to constantly like hold somebody's hand to get him to work something. So, so yes, all that to say, there are micro Komodos out there. I've got a bunch on my wall, but they come with a transmission. So yeah, it's smooth.
Yeah,
And yes, they do sell it separately. I just don't sell it that way. I choose not to.
No. I was curious because I know they've changed some of the options they used to have on their site.
Yeah.
To where certain things are not available except for in combo packs.
Oh, okay. So maybe they do.
So I wasn't sure.
Oh, Lefty's in the house. Lefty is Guru, by the way.
Oh.
He no longer gets called Guru by me. He's Lefty.
I wasn't sure who you meant when you said that earlier.
Yeah. But yeah. Man, go. You were there Thursday. It was popping at Reaction RC. It's like a big party every Thursday night these days, man. It's so cool to see it. And I know he goes on Sunday when it's even more packed.
Didn't you say there was something like 90 or 100 people or something there on a Thursday night, which isn't even a comp night?
There's 45 trucks.
45
it's comp night, but it's not their big. It's right. But then there's just other people. Like people are coming from all over. Like I was listening to people saying where they were telling Jeff where they came from. I'm like, man, people. So I talked to him. I'm like, man, people are just coming out. It's awesome. John Martin's RCI sucked. Man, you just got to get into it. I saw Trevor Adamo. What's up, man? I saw you posted a second earlier from Facebook. Sorry, I missed it. I saw it. I was probably in the middle of my semi rant. It wasn't a rant. It was just a why I don't stock everything thing. Like it was more of an explanation. I've got to stop ranting. I feel like I'm a.
You just said you weren't ranting.
Although the king.
Oh, you froze, or is it me?
I'm back. Okay. No, it was me.
Okay.
Pablo sending me some stuff. We got another $100 donation for the build.
Oh, cool.
From DSM Off Road.
Nice.
Oh man, he just sent me this really cool what he's working on. He's doing a really awesome installation for a pub. Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna show it because I'm not allowed to, but Maz, you missed the rant, dude. It's like I missed yours yesterday. Now we're done. Now it's all peace and love and puppies, buddy.
Puppies. You're a cat guy.
Trevor's mounting a pile of JC tires to run this year on trucks. I got some stuff to mount up. I got to get some stuff ready to roll. I got that. Yeah. He's got a new sweet chassis for the LMT. He's taking the Warpath LMT because kind of SMT is kind of phasing out. So
I thought they already did phase out.
they are, but like it's really hard to get parts now. Like usually they have a part support period time.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, but I'm trying to get down to some races here. I need to get to some of the Michigan races too.
Yeah, you guys have.
I've been a little busy, but I need to.
You guys have a lot of RC monster truck races, like in a fairly close vicinity, right?
So
at least on that coast.
On the East Coast, they do. Yeah, they've got New York has a big league. Virginia has 2, Showtime and No Limit. Yeah. Those are the main ones, 3 main ones, I think. And then we've got the RCM TCPA one that does 2 a year, 2 races a year. Remote radio control tractor pulling association, RC
TPA.
Yeah, I can't ever get the acronym right. But yeah, it's a polling one that also does monster truck races, and they do twice a year in Ohio. So we have that. And then we've got the Michigan Monsters who run kind of year round with little breaks, Midwest wise. And then we've got Trigger King in St. Louis. Right. So it's kind of like we've got Michigan and St. Louis are kind of close-ish. And then they've got the Richmond, New York. Those are the ones that I know of. And then the West Coast has some, north and south. And I think there's one up in there's now one up in Pacific Northwest, like Seattle.
What on the smaller scale pulling that you all do at Jeff's Place at Reaction? Do people only use SCX 24s, other 24s, and the 18th scale, anything like that?
The what?
The pulling that you all do it, yeah.
So, yeah, it won't matter a lot because that's just widths, and so we'll have a limit, and so there's not a whole lot of differences. There'll be a length and a width limit, and it'll allow for both the 24 and the 18 for most trucks, unless they go stupid with it. But it'll also allow for some to run a dual axle if they want, or dual wheel in the rear based on the width.
Right.
So that's in the class 3 or whatever, the higher class. Weight limit we'll have, and we're still trying to figure out because he's going to pull out the pull track he's got now, and he's going to build a tabletop one, which is going to be amazing. And so it'll come down to what we use as our surface. Because you literally could just do 2 folding tables and run a carpet across the top with a border to make sure trucks don't fall off. That could work. Or an AstroTurf of some sort or something. Right. But you need something that has a little traction, which will benefit the brush trucks that are struggling on the loose dirt to get any traction. But it could also mean more motor burnups, which I'm all for. I like motor burnup for pulling. Like, that's when the game gets real. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be change coming. I think there's enough guys that are interested in it, and we're just having a blast hooking up and pulling. So again, I wish I had more time in my day because I should have rules already written, and I'm just not a good details guy. I just get wrapped up in the creative stuff too much that I lose track of time all the time. So like I still got to work out the details of staying at my brother's in Atlanta in 2 days.
Well, it's probably
We've talked
because
about it, but the details haven't been hammered out yet. He knows we're coming as a
you end
very
up
short.
wasting time talking to idiots on live streams like this.
That's part of it, but everybody's asleep at this point, so I can't do it anyway. So that's the benefit of the live streams at late at night. So, haha, Bardo. Sean's against your C Friday, bringing a D90 for you to drive. Wicked. Yeah, so we're gonna be there Thursday through Sunday. Somebody asked that earlier. What?
So do you limit yourself as far as your working hours, or be like the whole time pretty much you're just going?
Anytime that there's something that I think needs to be shot for their video, I'm gonna be rolling. Anytime where it's like I don't feel like there's something, there's always something. The problem is you walk away with so much footage that you're like, it's almost harder to edit because you have too much to choose from.
Right.
So, because I'm picturing a 10 to 12 minute video max, and there's only so much you can put into that, especially if you slow motion anything. Like slow motion just eats time, you know.
Yeah.
So we were shooting stuff today, and I got like 40-minute clips because I shoot it in actual slow motion. Like we shot for 3 minutes or 4 minutes. It's like a 38-minute clip. Like it's like,
Oh yeah.
you know, but it allows you to then speed up or do whatever you want to get through it. But it's all about showing the beauty of what people are creating, in my opinion. Like that's the goal, is to show the real hobby side of building.
Yeah.
And then this is just kind of a place to show it off, like through the show and shine, through the pretty trails. That's really what they're about. Groomed trails. So your
Right.
trucks look as realistic as possible, and trying to capture it that way as people are talking about what they're trying to achieve with these trucks, is to make it look like when somebody sees it, it looks realistic. So see you, Tony. Later, Bill. But yeah, so that's what my goal is. And then interviews. It's really about having people tell the story. There's a lot of like,
that's a lot to put into 12 minutes.
12 minutes goes, it's a long time to fill. It's easy. It's actually easier to fill 12 minutes than it is to fill 3 minutes.
I just thought that interviews would.
Well, you got to keep them concise. You got to ask the right questions.
Right.
Jason's video could have been 30 minutes, but
yeah.
You cut to the stuff that, what do they say? Don't bury the lead.
Yeah.
So you got to get all the interesting stuff right up and done. And then the rest is for the people that are willing to stay the long haul, you know?
See, I always preferred the saying for news, the redder, the better.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Oh, JMRC's got a full day of racing to get ready for. Awesome, dude.
Good luck in your race.
For short clips, a second or so, but that doesn't work when you're really trying to show people's beautiful trucks. Like that high flash art type style, like that's music cutting, and it doesn't linger enough for people to really take in the essence of what people have created. Like if you really want to showcase what people are building, quick cutting doesn't work for it. And I know that it's flashy and stuff, but
those rigs have so many details all over the place on
for
them.
the amount of hours and years people put into them, to just 1 second it is tough. Like, yeah. The trails won't break the trucks too much. Smooth trails. Yeah. That's the point. Is they're supposed to just be an easy Sunday drive out on the, just kind of like you're out in the country running along some two tracker kind of trail out to the woods with a very minimal obstacles. You're not trying to break the trucks. They're supposed to be passable. They're not trying to roll their trucks over.
Yeah,
And
because a lot of
that's part of the goal of the video, is to let people know what to expect.
right.
Like a bunch of people showing up with Vanquishes and your Devil's Reject truck, just
No,
trailing with it. Like you're literally just walking 10 miles of trails or whatever,
right.
plus just
It's
behind your
not,
truck just for the fun of it.
it's
But
not
they're doing
crawling. Yeah,
it's all about photo ops and making like you spend all this time, you want to get your truck looking good in video and just hang out with people, walk trails, talk, and just admire the beauty of what you've created in
yeah,
a realistic environment. And that's what they're trying to create. And that's what they want people to know that they're about. Like that's part of the goal of the video, is to,
right,
like, I won't be showing a Vanquish VS 410 stock ready to run truck in the video,
right.
because that doesn't show any effort of what it doesn't at all show what USTE is about. So,
It's a trailing event, not a crawling event.
yep.
Well, that part of it. I know they have all the other parts, but
Yeah. So,
there's a lot of leaf spring trucks run out there
yeah, it's
for
just,
scale accuracy and everything.
yeah. And it's
Yeah.
not a competition. So the trails aren't built to be. They've got beautiful bridges. They've got beautiful scenic buildings out that they've just spent. They weed whip tire tracks into the grass, so it looks like trucks have been driving on it and
Oh
beating in
wow.
a path. They spend
Yeah.
hours and hours, weeks doing this.
Yeah.
It's it's one of the coolest things you'll ever see for somebody that's just diehard into this kind of stuff. Like, it blew my mind. And I don't have, like, I did take a RC 4-wheel drive Trailfinder 2 with tiny tires, like 1.5s on it. Um, and it was a blast. Like, there was some stuff that was like a little tricky for it, mainly because one of my wheel nuts wasn't on right. So I was basically running 3-wheel drive and I didn't realize it for a while. But no, I mean, it's a total blast. So I am taking the Vanquish this time because I just want to get pretty footage of it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have anything but snow here right now to run. So I would love to just get some cool video of it driving beautiful places like Matt did with his video. Nothing
Yeah.
super hard, but just kind of flexing on a few routes and stuff. 2 minutes of footage. That's all I need. Just quick little, and I'll have a video on it. But it's so much of it's about the community. Like,
Yeah.
even if you don't leave the tent area where the vendors are, and this year there's going to be so many vendors, so many. It's a huge vendor area.
And that's part of it they want to capture as well as the community part of it, what to actually expect if you come.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they've got classes, so you can show up and learn how to age paint jobs, and so they've got these different things throughout that are, they've got some of the top people teaching their techniques on how they build these trucks, and it's
Right.
really cool.
Is RC Patina guy? Is he?
I don't think he's making it. RC Every Day, Josh Dutton's going to be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
He
He's
does
going.
classes there. Scale Rat's going to be there.
Is this
ACM's going to be there.
is USTE when Holmes would go and do those classes on motors, or was that some other event?
I think they're coming.
Okay.
I don't know. They've Furetech's coming. FMS is coming this year. Reefs goes, Operation 11 Charlie. There's other like shops, Team K&K, Big Squid. I know they're there. J Concepts is there. Exo Cage is there. RC Supremacy is there,
Yeah.
and they do drifting. They got a whole drifting thing. They've got a trucking thing. They had like excavators and all that kind of stuff, I think, last year too.
Right.
There's so many things. There's so much for sale. It's like the place to be for scale trucking. Like if you want to just, but then they also do like the bash park at the end. Like they do the fireworks where they literally line them all up and hit just one after the other, hit the send it ramp. And it's just the most carnage you've ever seen. And it's wild. Raminators going off at every kind of truck you could imagine.
Is this the place where the guy from Big Squid always jumps into the mud?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Boom Racing's going to be there. Travis Elliott said it's a big, it's a big festival.
Sounds like a fun time.
So is Rockwolf's channel messed up? I don't know. Yep, there's a drift track and semi trucks. There are both of those. There is a monster truck race, which is a small little like around a track, like buggy track. It's so much fun. I had a blast doing it when I was there. And then they're also doing vintage Tamiya buggies. And that is a hoot to watch. That's like, I can't wait to film that. Like those are a riot.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's so many opportunities. They had a pretty big 24 scale course that they built this past year in there too. So yeah,
well, it should be a good time.
It's gonna be a good time. I was only gonna take 24 scale or 18 scale. Like I won the scale rat, castle or camel truck. Yeah, and so I'm gonna run that when I get there. So.
For your TRX4M, right?
Yep. I was thinking about bringing like my FMS FJ Cruiser just to scale looking. So we'll see. I might pull out something like that instead and just scale it out. Get a video of that because it's been a while. And I think that's one of my favorite of the 18 scale is that. I'd love to just mount that onto a TRX4M though. How's your TRX4M?
The second one, I haven't gotten very far on it yet, but it's coming along. The first one is done for what I wanted to do to it. But
what kind of upgrades do you have on it?
On the first one?
Do you need any?
The second one, I'm probably going to go brushless with. I think, most of the things that you offer on your website for mine that I needed. I'm trying to think if there was something else. I don't recall. I haven't even gotten back to that build. It just that one moved down in the list of projects.
We had a TRX4M in our comp last night or Thursday night. And I thought he was just running the body. It's super wide, so that's the only issue with the gates being set the way we have them.
Did he have anything else changed as far as chassis or?
I didn't look. There were some awesome rigs. I have a video, not of theirs. I have a video of mine running. I took pictures of a few of them. There's some beautiful builds. I didn't get the guy's name, but he made it out of styrene and carbon fiber, and it was unbelievable, dude.
Oh, wow.
Two of them. I thought he had done it on a titanium because of the paint. Almost looked like the ones where they kind of burn in the titanium, the color.
Yeah.
And get that rainbowing, but it wasn't. It was painted that way, but it was all styrene and carbon. And they were awesome looking.
Wow.
So I hope he comes back and I have a camera. See you, Ed. Unknown RC. We'll see you there, bud. Thanks for the $2. I'm giving all this money still. Any of this that people are giving in is going to the build for Operation 11 Charlie. Any super chat money. And there was a big 50 one in there earlier from Blue Crush. And then also Unknown RC had hit. He did it twice. So both those unknown are going to go toward the 011C build. The I-beam.
So that's going to be an interesting build.
You know, Pablo's a very talented guy.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I wish I did. I don't even have what Jason has. Like, I'm not. I don't have the patience for. Like, I don't know if it's the patience. There's other things I do with my time. Like I'd rather invest it in making video stuff.
Well, see, that's where your talents lie, though, is more the video and the production side of it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you're not talented at the other things too. It's not like you're accidentally putting together the rigs you put together.
Right. I don't have the time to just, I don't choose to spend my time there. If I stopped making videos, I'd have a whole lot more time. Video takes up so much time.
Yeah.
I got you down Unknown and Blue Crush on the list to make sure I have all the numbers added up right. But yeah, so
Y'all are making
mine
good
mostly
progress.
look like this. I'm all for these ones. I'm about performance. I just want to build it out to drive good and fit the tires in. So it's not
And that one
perfect.
made it to an Axial Fest, I see. Is that what
Yeah,
that's? Yeah.
yeah. But it's this is still my favorite truck that I own.
Now, is that since you've been using that for a puller, right?
Nope. I use
No.
the King one, the
Oh,
gold
the
one.
King. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw that. I thought the brass Servo Beast. I thought I saw that on there.
Oh, the Servo Beast, that'd be a waste on that. It's too fast. For a Polar, you don't need.
Yeah.
I don't have brass axles on here, but I think if I had brass axles, I wouldn't want this Servo Beast.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like falling down with that much weight up front. It's
Isn't the
not to
Servo
that
Beast?
point yet, but it's a heavy servo. If you had brass axles too, it'd be
It's
too
like
much.
70 something grams by itself, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So that coupled with I have brass hubs on here, the diff cover, and then the wheels are brass. Like when I'm turning, sometimes if I'm side hilling, I feel it kind of the front end's wanting to like fall a little bit, just a little. It's
Right.
not bad. Like I wouldn't get rid of it for that because there's other benefits from it, but I've noticed it a little bit. So
Looks like you have another donation.
I got that. Thank you, Troy. What other than the TRX4M, you said you had other ones taken apart. What are you working on those?
I pulled them apart to rob parts for other builds, and some of it was parts to put in the AX24 because that became kind of a focus for me. That I know you and I have talked about that rig, not only because it's something different from Axial in the 24 scale world, but because of the nostalgia of it. It kind of has a special place for me that I wanted to kind of put a lot of effort into that. And it's kind of my little bit of coming back on YouTube a little bit after being gone for almost 3 months. So just something to make it a little bit different. But yeah, I was just kind of robbing parts from some of them just to use them because I knew that they'd be good in the fashion I wanted to use them on those. And they were rigs that weren't getting run.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I need to do that. Like, well, I do and I don't. I'm looking at trucks I have up there. Ooh, and I'm looking at one I want to take with me now.
You're doing it again.
They got to fit inside that bin. I told my kids that they have to fit in. So, and I've already got the Phoenix in there. So I got to like take tires off to get everything to fit in there. But I actually kind of want to take the Gold Digger.
Yeah.
Yeah. The caged.
Yep.
Or the other one, the fast one. I don't know.
Hirayama.
The Hirayama. But I like the Hirayama with monster truck tires on it. I put the Swampers on it or the Scramblers on it because people ask me to. and they're too they roll. It rolls too easy because the wheels fold where those monster truck tires don't. The monster truck tires are legit on the Hiroyama.
Keep it planted easier.
Planet and speed, man, it's so much fun. So
See you, Jeff Walter.
see you, Jeff. Unknown, I'll see you there too. You and Bill. We're starting our journey soon. But it's nice having in-laws that are here because we don't have to worry about the cats or other stuff. Stuff just continue on at the house. They're going to be here. So
that's cool. That's great.
Protection as well, right?
Yeah.
I was talking about that with you about that before.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest things for me traveling for work and everything is, my father-in-law and his friends Smith and Wesson and all the security stuff we have here is pretty nice. So got to.
Well, with the size of my family, there's always someone here.
Right?
Yeah.
Are you going to try to go to Proline by the Fire?
That's my plan.
Yeah. Do you have to take off work for it or no? Is it on the weekend?
I probably will, just to kind of make a nice long time off out of the whole thing. But I definitely want to try to go this year. You're still doing Gauntlet, right? Because aren't they the same weekend?
Well, I want to run the 24 scale thing at Gauntlet. Yeah, it all depends. I don't know how important. I had something being built for Proline by the Fire.
Oh.
And so if it's okay for me to just have somebody else run it for me, which would suck because I really want to run it. I really, really, really want to run it.
Yeah.
So bad. It comes down to where I best fit in. And honestly, the 24 scale stuff for me is the best fit. That's kind of where the world I live in right now.
Yeah.
Personally, like it's the most fun for me. My business is all geared around the 24 scale stuff.
Right.
So if it's not monster trucks, like it's this, and that's technically more this right now than monster trucks because there isn't a huge monster truck thing out here and I don't have time to start it. I would be a part of it, but I don't have time to start it. So, yeah. And honestly, if I did start anything in an area where I wasn't having something, I'd start a 24 scale thing because there's less time investment for people coming and there's more drive time for that time investment. If that makes sense,
No, I get it.
So
is Pablo still planning on going to Proline?
So, and that's the other thing is we're talking about trying to go to Badlands.
Oh, okay.
That's when he's trying to have that truck ready, the I-beam.
That's the one in Kentucky, right?
That's the one in Indiana.
Indiana, sorry.
Yep.
I was thinking of
4 hours from me. 3 hours from me, 3 or 4. But the train is awesome. It's really awesome there.
Yeah.
Not the mountains like out west, but it's a pretty cool like mini scale Moab because it's in the middle of this like off-road park.
So, that would be really cool, especially for that SCX6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I love is the SCX 24s there though. Like some of the terrain there for it looks so legit scale to something bigger world out west, but it's just this tiny little like flat spot of rock in the middle of it. So, but yeah. So the thing is that what Pablo's making for me. So I have a couple things being made, and what Pablo's making for me would also fit into the Proline by the Fire.
What is the theme again this year?
Survivor.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I built it based on, I sent him a brand new SCX-10-2 kit. I had no idea that this new Pro kit was coming out. Like I had no clue till about just shortly before it was released. A couple days before it was released. But yeah, so I'd already sent him like the SCX-10-2 kit, which I would probably choose again anyway, because what he's building wouldn't work well on that belly dragger style or comp style. But which also we should talk about that. That thing is beautiful. I haven't got to say it on a live stream or anything yet. It looks cool.
Yeah, I like everything about it except the price. To me is a little, for me, is the one thing that'll probably keep me from it for a while.
I mean, so yeah, it's the same thing. It's like the SCX-10-2 kit is cheaper, but to do all of those upgrades to it, to make it like that with a G Speed or who is it makes like the chassis and all that. G Speed is it G Speed?
G Speed makes one, right? And who's the one that has the
or Rock Pirate it all out, or any of that stuff?
Rock Pirates has their own chassis,
right? So any of that on top of having the chassis puts you in that price range.
Yeah,
they're just making it. So here's where it comes down to. Figuring all that stuff out takes hours of research. What to buy, what to get. Oh, I've started with this. Lots of mistake bought parts that don't work. I've been there, where you buy the wrong transmissions or the wrong skids, or one, it slows down your build. Two, it's a waste of money. This gets rid of all of that for people that want to just jump in and don't know where to start, you know?
Right.
And that's what I was saying with the 24 scale stuff. And I was talking with scale builders, like, you know, because everybody could jump in and do stuff. And I'm like, I'm not trying to compete with Mofo. Like, Mofo's got his thing going. I always push people to go get stuff from Mofo. Like, I'm not trying to be competition with him. I'm not trying to be competition with FureTech. You won't see me come out with a brushless motor because those two companies are killing it. There's not a vacuum or need, right?
Yeah.
So the things that I run, and I sell the FureTech stuff, so that fills that hole anyway. Like, for making a build from what I have, I literally only carry what I think would work for a truck or what I use.
Right.
And so I'm not trying to just sell anything that just because it could sell or confuse somebody about. I'm trying to really simplify the process and make it very easy to approach upgrading. And that's why I'm going to do that whole series as soon as I finish my course and have a repeatable, testable layout that I can do, since the weather's not helping here. But
you try to sell
that
parts that you would use yourself, parts that you know are a good upgrade, you know, for people, that's going to be easy enough that anyone can do it from the beginner to the advanced and still get the same advantage out of it.
Yep. And like the motor, like I said earlier, bolt on. Like, you don't need to figure out how to get it to work. So, and then when I sell the upgraded motors, like the FureTech ones, I only sell with the transmission. So it's also a 3-bolt. Like, it's a 3-bolt in setup, and then you add your drive shafts. You know, it's like, keep it as simple as possible for people. ExoCage says SCX-10 Pro is all there, no searching, fabricating, and hoping for the best. Totally worth it if it means anything to you. And he knows, he builds some crazy rigs, man. Like, the stuff that I don't have the time to figure out how to build. Corrupt Carbon Works, that's another one. Thank you, Travis Elliott. So they all have good stuff for people that are really wanting to dial their stuff in and know all the elements that they want, or they see the guys at their comps running all these different things and want to go that route because they see how they perform. That's awesome. But for the guy that just wants to kind of get in there and keep up a little bit, like, that's a good starting point. That's where I wish they would make like an SCX 24 Pro. Like, I literally wish that they would come out with something decked out a little bit like this. Sell it for $350, brushless, ready to go, like hit the trail, comp, go. That would be awesome. Like,
Even if they did an SCX 24 or a 24 version of something like the Pro, where it's a kit that you already know you're going to probably put whatever motor you're going to want in it. You know you're going to put the wheels and tires you want on it. And then electronics you can choose, because a lot of people change out from the stock electronics anyway. Not just an SCX 24 that's the same thing, just minus a few things. Give it some sort of an upgrade in some fashion, the transmission, something.
yep. Now, Dana was saying that the micros are sold out everywhere. That ding was something saying that I'm now sold out of micros. So I just need to go verify that I am actually sold out of micros, Komodos on my wall, and I'll update that if that's wrong. But I also may be out of micro Komodos now.
I guess it worked. You sold them. Uh-oh. You didn't get yours? Go, man, go. Bruce, I haven't heard much about the Cayman. They just kind of came, and then people aren't really talking much about them anymore.
All right, I think I have one left. I need to go just verify that somebody else didn't buy that one too. There's two hanging on my wall left.
Well, he said he ordered his 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, but I'm just seeing if somebody else ordered one today, or if I always do my stock to be lenient in case there's ever an issue with one. I never do the full amount, usually for my inventory. That way I get the alert and then I can check and make sure that I'm out. I'm actually, we could talk about this, Dirk. The new Mighty Eagle.
Oh, I need to step away for just 1 minute.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
So, Tony wants an AX24 Pro, says Swampers are. I thought you were going to sleep, man. I saw it was you, Dirk, Dana, not Dirk, Dana, that ordered it. And there's another one on the wall. I'm just trying to make sure that I do have another. I think there might be one more, unless somebody ordered one earlier today. I've sold 3 yesterday, so it's possible that there were multiples today. And the motor, the Baby Goliath motor, has been selling like nuts. So I do have one left. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back in stock. And I will mail that, Dana, before I leave town tomorrow. So you will get it probably Monday. I'll do it on here. But I have a new servo coming. I'm getting dangerously low on the latest batch of honey badgers. Unexpectedly low. I didn't realize how low I was. And then I only have what's left on hanging on my wall right now, which is lower than I like to be. And I do have the mini Komodos in stock. I know why you disappeared. I might have to do a trade with you in a second and disappear.
Oh.
Yeah, the honey badgers. Whoa, see, my stock on that is way wrong. I need to lower that by many. I need to make that only that. But I have more honey badgers coming in, and I'm basically gonna end of run the analog version of the honey badger because it's not that many people choose that one, even though it's really cheap and is better than the Emax. It's better than the Emax for sure, but not many people have bought it. I'm still on my first order of. I was a big first order. It was a lot of hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And I'm about down to 10 or so of those. But they haven't been like I've gone through multiple batches of the Honey Badger Digital. But I have one that's a little bit bigger power than that. That's going to kind of be between it and the Chihuahua. And I'm calling it the Mighty Eagle. I just felt like it was necessary to have something named the Mighty Eagle after all of the shenanigans.
Can I guess who's going to present it on your channel?
Yes, please do guess.
The King?
It's going to be endorsed by the King of RC, very much so. So it's going to be similar to the Honey Badger with a bit more power.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so that should be coming hopefully soon.
Cool.
Because the hardest part about it all is like you spend all this money just trusting that it's going to come. Because some of the ways that you pay is like, hey, just PayPal us or
yeah,
friends and family. Because at that point they could just walk away, man, and you're gone like thousands of dollars, right?
Right.
But if you don't, then they hit you like way more on charges for it because of the fees that they incur on it. So, but yeah, so it's always sucks when you drop that much and then you're like, I hope they show up sometime in the next year. Like, you don't know if it's going to be. Some of them ship fast, but these ones are being like made, so they're going to take a little while.
Yeah.
To get them up to spec, but and created to it. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I can't wait. In the moment of all of it, like I designed the logo and all that, so it should all fit the same sizing as the Honey Badger. But
did you spell check it?
I did spell check it multiple times, Mr. Chihuahua. Oh, I'm never gonna forget that. And people that want a micro Komodo, you could always get the one that's for the Traxxas and get a plate for it if you're really looking for a micro, because they make the Traxxas micro one and then just swap out the plate for it. It's a really roundabout way to do it, and I don't recommend it. But if you really are dying to get one because yours burned up and you already have a plate, that'd be a way to do it. See, yeah, because I still have 2 just Furatech Komodo motor mounts in stock. That's the problem. People came and bought just the motors, but not the mounts.
Oh.
And so I've just had mounts in stock since my first Furatech shipment. It's the other reason I only sell them as a combo.
Get them in Jeff's store. He'll sell them.
He probably would, because he does sell them separate like that, and people see him. I should give him a discounted, just move them rate. I guess I could do that on my own site. There it is. Give one more Furatech Micro. Took long enough to find it. I need to redo all of it now that there's so many products. I have to redo the structuring, make it easier for people.
The categories and stuff.
Yeah. I need to figure out a better way to. It was originally created to be a blog, and that's changed considerably in the last 8 months, 9 months.
Does it seem longer than 8 or 9 months that you've been?
Seems like it's been going on forever, dude. It's so weird. Yeah.
It's grown really fast.
Yeah. Well, there went the mini Komodo. So there may or may not be those people watching. All right. So Mighty Eagle. Did I show you the logo? I could show it on my phone, I guess. I don't want to do the screen sharing. If people are curious what it looks like. I was pretty happy with how it turned out. If you guys have seen Angry Birds,
yep,
it's kind of reminiscent. One of my favorite scenes is when he's peeing off the cliff, and they'd just been in there drinking and like doing the little fountains with the water in the lake. One of my favorite movie scenes ever. It may be the hardest I've ever laughed at a movie was during that scene. I absolutely lost it. Like that little kid humor in me of just, yeah, when they realize and they start like trying to wipe off their tongues because they have you seen it, Angry Birds? That
Yeah.
movie? Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I know exactly
When
what
my
you're
eagle comes out and pees off into the lake. Oh my gosh. One of the best. See you at USTE, Joe. We see that camera handle, Tony.
Yeah.
Small rig. There's the other camera handle. This one's a little bit more high tech.
Not so phallic.
There's a lot going on with this whole setup. There's a lot of cabling and wires. I don't look forward to tearing that down and packing it up before I leave and then rebuilding it when I get there.
Looks like Swampers and Tank are checking out as well.
All right. Good night, guys. Killer chassis with Flub RC body. Oh, UTB 18. Okay. So I have the UTB 18 chassis coming from Furatech. Have you seen that cage they built? That buggy cage for that looks wicked.
Oh, I didn't see that one, but I'm not a big
UTB.
I don't know that I'll get a UTB 18. Not saying that there's anything wrong with it. I just
implying it.
I was just hurt.
You're
that
hurt.
It wasn't a SCX 24 honcho.
Oh yeah. I was hurt.
I was hurt. The Psycho has feelings.
I don't see it listed on their website. They showed it on their Facebook. But yeah, they have a cool cage for that coming.
Oh, okay.
Along the lines of the whole bug crawler, cage style.
Oh, is it similar to the one that they just made for the TRX4M kind of style?
Yep. Very similar. Yep. So I wonder if Flubber Stuffer is going to be at USTE. Cool. I'm picking mine up. She's talking with Joe. Swamp Bill is.
Yeah, Swampers won that one from Fern Solo.
Okay.
So the UTB 18. Yeah.
Okay.
Fern's going to be at USTE as well.
Darwin Bucky. The one bird scraping its tongue with the rock. Yeah. It's good stuff. That's my kind of potty humor will always get me like over the edge. Like you go there, my kids, and like I'm loving their age. They're totally into the poop, fart, balls, whatever kind of humor.
Yeah.
I lose it. I lose my mind when when they start doing it. So, what's your favorite rig you have? 24 scale.
My favorite rig. Well, for a while, it was the one I put on the Mofo Ugly AF chassis. That was probably my best performer at that point.
Okay.
Then as far as performance wise, but then it got surpassed by. It's hard to pick one. It got surpassed by my cheat code build because then it surpassed the other one. And then I'm not saying a word. I've already offended you once tonight. Well, probably more than once, but that's okay. Who's counting? And then honestly, I had just done a build when Texoma was working on his chassis. He was doing a run of wooden ones that he was actually hand carving.
Yeah.
And I got one of those.
Yeah, I remember when he was doing that, the hand carved.
Yeah, and cool. I swear to you,
that one.
I just pulled my deadbolt, which was my first SCX 24 that I had upgraded. I just pulled everything out of that, put it up in that chassis, Hadn't even run it myself. Had OGRC comp pin tires on it. And then one of my sons, who never drives these cars, drove it on my course, and it went over everything without any problem anywhere. And my course isn't that crazy complex, but it was like he doesn't know how to drive them, but he just went over everything.
That's cool.
So I've got several that I would say are favorites. Now, as far as what I've put into it and looks wise and things that I like a lot.
That's what I mean.
That yellow bastard.
Yeah. I kind of thought so.
Yeah, that's probably, that one will never get pulled apart. Because the version 2 of it, I put a lot into that to give it its own unique look, but still keep that same style. So
yeah. So the people that don't know, I text Dirk probably more than anybody that I text, especially RC wise. But the second I was kind of finished with Jason's video, I sent it to you to look at, just to kind of get your opinion. I know you're in the media world as well.
Clearly didn't care what my opinion was, though.
Yeah, he said don't air it. He said that Jason guy there was some strong language he used that I'm not even comfortable saying here.
You don't want to get demonetized?
And demonetization reasons, but he said I would never share that. Jason's, then there was a whole string of things after that he said. And so I was like, well, I kind of like it, so I'm just going to air it.
Why don't we just get the King guy in here? I like him.
You said it was pretty good. I had a few tweaks. I had a few tweaks to do and change a few B-rolls. I knew it from the outset, but I just literally had to upload it because I was going to bed. And so I think I sent you the link before it even actually finished uploading.
Yeah, you sent me a link and then ignored my text because you went to bed. No, it played right away.
Oh, did it right away? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then it finished uploading while I was heading up and texting you. But then I went to bed for about 2 hours because it was like 4:30 a.m. or something. And then
that's a lot of sleep for you.
Yeah, I got 2 hours. Woke up, took the kids to school, then made the changes and uploaded it. But he doesn't like to change his stuff. And I feel, so that's what I was trying to get at. All of this was literally to get to that point. So roundabout way of getting there.
I'm glad you found time to take
I wanted to make sure that people thought you were insulting Jason along the way. Okay. So but he doesn't like to change his stuff. I feel the same way. Like I have that purple Scythe chassis, like my original one of those, and it still has all the parts in it. It doesn't have the wheels because my kids stole them, and I sold the receiver in order to run the Hiroyama. So I guess I did take it apart, but I'm not like willing to totally take it apart because I have every intention of rebuilding it and driving it again.
Well, it wasn't
until most of mine I don't take apart.
It wasn't until about 3 months ago that I would take anything apart. I would just buy another donor rig and start.
Yep. So I have so many trucks that have receivers in them that I won't take out because if I know I do, the one time I want to run it, it won't be in there, and I'll just never run it ever again. Like it's just so I just buy new receivers. That's why I say I have probably 60 to 100 Spectrum receivers.
Wow.
I have a lot. I've kept Spectrum afloat all of these years by buying receivers for all of my cars.
So you funding them is the reason we got these electronics in the AX24.
Oh.
You're at fault. Sorry.
I don't like those electronics compared to the Horizon Hobby branded ones and the V2s. Although I have not had this one melt an ESC combo, and I've had 3 of the V2s just like smoke out and melt. So
you have a tendency to smoke out things that run on electricity.
Yeah. Ugly AF for the win. No problem beating up on the newer chassis. I have a cheat code, and I lose to Go Man Go all the time.
You have a cheat code?
With my Scythe. Because I have the ugly AF as well. and I can't drive it as well as I drive this, which still loses to Go Mango. 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10. So he definitely rocks it with his ugly AF. I just, for some reason, I like the way that this particular truck performs, and I don't know that I can attribute it to the chassis per se. I don't know what it is about it. It just, anytime I'm having a bad day driving, I go drive this, and I feel good about myself again.
Is Dana running brass wheels on his ugly AF?
He's running 33% overdrive, which is definitely cheat code, and I need to do that to mine because I'm only running 23%. So I think that's definitely helping his steering.
See, and I haven't. Dana just mentioned the ugly F suffers from lack of shock options.
That's the main reason I don't like it.
But I know that Mofo just put out a new ugly AF that has
mainly the front shock that I don't like.
Yeah, I know he added more shock mounting positions, but I haven't looked at it close enough to see.
Yeah, my front shock mount option, my front shocks I don't like on my ugly AF, and these ones I do.
Yeah.
It slams the truck more, but still has enough articulation that I can hook up without it also being super side hilly problematic.
Right.
But Dana's trucks are like, they're really good. Really, really good.
So when you flip that open, that back end looks like it's
struggling. It's busted in half.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was a visual something playing.
No, I just like the body too much to get rid of it. I need to put some drywall tape in there and just actually fix it.
Yeah.
But I have packing tape wrapped around the outside and the inside of it to hold it together right now.
Hey.
So, but once it's on, it don't matter. It's locked together. It's just it broke right here. I dropped it with the body clips off, and it landed and just snapped it right at that right angle. Perfectly clean.
I know besides the TRX 4M, and I don't think this is your style, do you have any SCX 24s with a hard body besides the Bronco?
No, I don't like hard bodies.
Okay. Just curious.
I like the way they look.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to say.
No, I agree.
The end of statement. I like the way they look.
I agree.
But now there's some that are like the really cool like half cabs and the old like Model Ts and whatnot that people do, and they kind of chop them and make them into rat rods. Those are wicked. I would run one of those all day long, but I don't know what class they in ours they fit into class 2 or 3. I get they probably fit into class 2 as well, as long as it's stock chassis, because we don't really have body rules. But yeah, I don't get into the heavy metal bodies either, which Jason does, and they look so good.
And they work great for him because he's more trail.
Yeah.
Than comping.
Yep. I would like to have one for like I need to talk to him about making me one, like because I'd love to have one like that new yellow truck he has.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like
you got from Bulgear?
From Bulgear all day long. I want that truck. Speaking of anybody going to Reaction RC, when you get off at Plainfield, look to the right. There's a Jeep truck. The Pioneer, Jeep Pioneer. And it looks so good. It's super old. Wood paneled. I mean, I'm trying to look up what year that would have been. I'm just on my Google images looking for one that looks like it. I'm not seeing anything even close. It's super old looking. Oh, here we go. What's this? 85 J10 Pioneer. It looks kind of like that, but wood paneled. It's freaking rad. Just sitting in a parking lot there. Anyway, might be older. Might be an older front end than a. But if you haven't seen it, it's a beaut.
Eric and Maz are fighting in the chat.
He saw the cheat code sucks.
You may not want to read Maz's response.
I come in peace. Yeah, so there's, I mean, I think for the 24 scale world, it's only going to get better. I don't see, because of the niche of it and there's really this novelty size to it. And I hope the 18 scale works in that as well. I don't know that it will, maybe, but it's just enough bigger that it's not as cool to me. Like, there's something about that 20 and smaller than 24 scale feels too small. There's something right about that size of those trucks that I'm just in love with. I don't like them widened. I don't do +4s on anything. It's just like that axle width and everything about it is just right on for me. As far as this sizing right here with C10 fronts and deadbolt rears is like, the width of it, it's just right for me. But
when I got my first SCX 24, I remember working on it the first few times and getting just frustrated, thinking I'm never going to be able to handle this tiny rig. But you do just get used to it, and it's not that small. Now, I could never build one of those Orlandos because my eyes wouldn't be able to do it, for one.
Yep.
My hands with my carpal tunnel would never be able to get through the whole thing. But
you can't get a power driver for it.
No. God, I can't imagine. But yeah, I don't know. They're great. I mean, when I switch and work on a 10 scale rig, it's just such a, vast difference. And I enjoy that as well. I mean, I've enjoyed building.
It's a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
These are simplified in a way as well that I like.
And that's part of what I like about them, because it opens up the genre to a wider audience of people that either one can't afford the expense of a 10 scale and upgrading and all that stuff, but also more of the ease of upgrading.
Yeah. Mr. Cataract. Well, let me say Iowa Budget RC Bashers first. Says 24th is cool because they're the size of the models we built as kids. I think that might have something to do with it. It's very familiar, right? When you're working on it, it's just a familiar size. Are overland RC cars a thing? Like overland camping style? I mean, a lot of the stuff come with like fake camp rigs and all that. So I guess if that's what you're talking about. My SCX 24 has sat on the shelf for almost 2 years. It's cool. Just don't have as much fun with it as I do with my 110 scale stuff. And I get that. And I would have said that 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when I was in Virginia and we had the outdoor trails to walk and just go. And like, I would go out there, and this was like Periscope days, man. Like the live stream, you had to use Periscope through Twitter. And I was doing these live streams, and it was like Russians coming in and like people all over the world popping in, and like literally just live streaming, crawling in, these trails. It was totally different era. That's probably actually longer than that ago, 7 years ago. But being in Michigan, one, the weather changed things. Two, there's just not that trailing spot for me to go to. And I can run my 10 scale on the courses. I don't find it as fun as running the 24 scale on the indoor courses for some reason. But there's also something more simplistic about moving stuff around on these to really adapt them and change them into what you kind of want them to be. It's easier to do for some reason, because while there are a lot of the same parts, they're different in the way that they make them. They're more simplistic.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get over the small screws, which if you have magnetic stuff, that's one of the biggest things is magnetizing
Oh yeah.
your bits. That goes a long way. 90% of the problem, is fixed by that. Because it just holds it in place for you to get it lined up and going. But the just slow crawling, and so I don't like the stock 124 scale. They're not fun to me at all. Like, I'll say it, like, the stock version of this truck sucks. But what people have created for these in order to make them capable, like, once I went brushless with this, there was no going back. And that's why I tried to make the brush motor as close to that brushless experience as I could.
Right.
Because of that slow crawl and like the torque of that. So now I do run brush, but like there's just something about that super slow and just watching it move.
Right. But I think it's great that there are still really good options with the right electronics, with the right brushed motor for people that don't have the money or don't want to put that kind of money in, especially
The V2. So this was pre V2. V2 transmitters changed everything. The Horizon Hobby V2 made brush crawling way better.
Yeah.
There's not the 1, 2, 3. You just in the throttle you had all the control, and that just made all the difference. So,
and that V2 kind of forced you to do that because you couldn't add a brushless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I recently saw a video doing RC Overland. That's cool. Brushless 1/10 bounced off the walls in the house. Scale wise, 24s crawl tougher obstacles than 1/10. Go man go. I agree, and I've said that several times as well. Jason said that in his interview, and I cut it just to not stir the pot too much with the. I didn't want the 10th scale hate in that video. It took away from where the video was going and the community side because he mentioned it. And I'm like, I don't think that takes this in the right direction. Like, I don't want this to be us versus them. I want this to just be about just the 24 scale. But yeah, there's lots of people that agree that 1-to-1, if you would like scale things up, it's a lot harder to get a 10 scale. I bet they can. Like, I see some of these 10 scales straight crawling up stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But so I that's the other reason. Like, it's not exactly true, but it's way harder to get them to do the same thing. Like, I still haven't figured out how to get my 10 scales to perform anything like I can get this to perform if I were to scale it up. It's just harder in the way that the components are, because I don't do shock oils with this. I don't need shock oil. I don't need a whole bunch of crap that you need with the 10 scale in order to get them to perform.
Right.
They just
I don't have
hurt.
I don't have the resources or the time, frankly, but to do it. But I wish there was someone that would do a 1/24th obstacle and have a 10th scale version of that exact same, whatever it is.
I think the weight, we change everything the way that we choose to run them. Like, if we were to do these at a 10 scale, they'd be like 50-pound.
Yeah.
Not really, but they'd be freaking heavy, dude. Like, you scale this up to a 10 scale, that's a meaty truck right there. It's a really meaty truck. So it's different, but it also it handles different if you do it 10 scale. I honestly believe it because there is so much more weight, and the size of things is just going to make it less capable.
To take it even a step further, you're also familiar with the 10 scale to the 6 scale.
Oh yeah.
So that's a whole different driving experience as well, is it not?
Yeah.
Does it seem easier in the 6 scale, or is it?
The thing that people don't understand is the 6 scale they built so well. Like, it comes brushless. right? So it's already smooth and it's already just the tires seem to grip like so the out of the box experience of that to me anyway is different. I love that SCX6. I wish I was still in Virginia with it because I'd have a whole lot more places to run it. Um, but yeah, but one of the things I like about this too is I don't know, getting older too. Like where the level you're driving it at isn't at your feet. There's something cool about having it just being right there at like your waist, up on a tabletop. Like I don't get the same enjoyment out of driving these on the ground as I do on a tabletop course.
So
So
what
I
you're
think for
saying,
people that don't do that, they might not kind of understand the experience because it changes things. The perspective of seeing it at that different level instead of looking down on the top of it, but seeing how the tires are approaching things, totally different perspective of how you're viewing it when you're driving. And there's something to be said about that. Like comparing it to a 1-to-1 full scale truck as a spotter outside the vehicle versus the other ones where you're top down looking at things. When you get that up to the same scale or on a table where you can kind of look without like squatting down and like trying to lay down on the ground to see the 10 scale ones, there's something about it that changes the experience in many ways, just how you interact. And
right?
I think it plays a big part in why I do like these so much.
So, and not to simplify what you were saying, but everyone here heard it. Tony said it's a lot more fun when all the action is at your waist. So, just wanted to point that out. You invited me again. I'll say.
I don't know. That sounds like something Maz would have said. But yeah, so I will. I mean, I'll admit when I drive this on my course at home on the ground, it's not as much fun as driving it at a tabletop course at Reaction. You just don't get the same perspective.
Do you enjoy the course you did at home? Because you did a really good job on that.
Oh yeah, yeah, I really
Yeah.
like it, and it'll be getting upgraded, but
Okay.
so will the indoor one.
Yeah.
It's the indoor one will be more repeatable for like testing things and saying, okay, this compared to what I had before. I mean, I've run this a million times. It's always the same. Like so that's more what I want that for is testing purposes for video. But what are you looking at? Something's going on in the chat.
Jeff.
Lincoln, Bull Gear's
Jeff.
in the house. Yeah. So I don't know. Do you guys think in the chat? What do you think? Does it change things with perspective? Because I really feel like for me, like I've noticed that even when we've taken our trucks back to the floor level a few times at Reaction. Now, luckily, Reaction has built their floor level stuff. A lot of it's elevated now. They just keep building it so they have walls so they can build the track higher. And so you still have perspective like that. But I don't know, there's something about looking at them on the ground that changes how you see under the truck and how it's approaching things. Kind of like you would with a real truck. So. Comango says 100%. Now, it does. One of the neat things is, so we're doing both. Like the last 2 weeks, we've done ground level, elevated ground level, and then the tabletop. There's a definite difference when you hit the ones that are ground level when you're trying to see your approaches for things, and I find that cool. So having like the mix of, okay, here's one that's giving you that perspective, and here's one that's going to throw your mind a whole different loop when you're trying to hit these gates. So it's kind of cool when you mix it like that. But for just like straight up just crawling for fun, I definitely prefer the tabletop.
No, I think that I get what you're saying because the 24 is so much smaller. Putting it at that higher elevation, you're getting more close to what people get with the 10th scale experience. Because with
No,
the 10th
not even
scale,
a 10 scale. I don't think so. I think
well,
one to
but
one.
But
I
in
think
10
real
scale,
truck, when you're standing outside the truck and you're telling your buddy, driver's side, because you're looking at the rock in front of it, you're seeing under the truck. The 10 scale, you're still top down, and it's a perspective thing for me. But the 24 scale, we're bringing it back up on the tabletops where you're now almost that 1-to-1 level looking at underneath the truck how everything plays out. So unless you're laying on the ground for a 10 scale, you're not getting that perspective. That's what I'm saying. I think it's closer to the 1-to-1 feel of a spotter or whatever from the outside of the vehicle than the 110 scale in a real world scenario. That's what I'm
well,
saying.
no, I guess it is better than that environment. But in the 10 scale, at least you're seeing more of what's happening because it is larger.
Yeah.
Even on the ground level. But you're getting even a better view of it at an elevated
Under, yeah.
in the 24
front
scale.
level, like looking at perspective wise of the front of it. Yeah.
It's like being at a 1-to-1 event and watching the cars do what they do. You're seeing the articulation, you're seeing the everything about it working and doing what it's doing.
Yeah. Now, one of my favorites is, and so Bogey, you're saying I like indoor crawler courses, but natural terrain is the best. One of the things I like about Badlands is it's elevated. So where you're running, there are sections all around it where you're actually sitting 3 feet lower on the outside of it, looking at your truck. So it's still elevated. It's all natural.
Oh,
and it's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's a cool layout. Oh, Sin City Crawler, you've got some good areas out there in Vegas to crawl for sure.
Yep. And there's definitely going to be better terrains to run in real life for sure. But I still like it when I get that perspective. That gives it kind of that closer to 1-to-1 perspective for me. Because 1-to-1, when you're standing looking at your buddy or they're telling you what to do, they're looking down underneath the axle,
Right.
So that's all I was trying to get at.
I just
I'm
wish
all for the tabletop. I want the crawler course to be tabletop. I'm old, yo. Like, stop making me bend over for these stupid little things to film them. That's the other thing, filming them. Way easier on a tabletop.
Well, yeah, that was with my indoor course. That was my original intention, was to build the elevated part and also build some underneath it. And I said, "Oh, screw that. I'm not gonna."
Oh, on the ground level, yeah.
I'll go
People
up.
keep telling me that, dude. You go like cut through your table and go down to the floor. I'm like, nope, not bending down to film that. Or even like try to work with it. Old, what are you? 19? I'm. What year is this? 2023.
You have to think about it
now, dude. One whole year, I lived as a year older than I was. I thought I got the math wrong or something. In my head, I was like 35 and I was only 34. And I just kept telling everybody I was 35. And I really believed it. What class would you put a 6x6? In a 6x6 class, anything goes. It would just be a designated 6x6 class. Class 6. That's probably what I call it. And I wouldn't make any restrictions too much, like length and width, to keep it within a certain like scale. But no limits on motors, really bodies. It's kind of a specialty tier anyway. Same with like the 4-wheel steer. At that point, like if you're going 4-wheel steer, why limit bodies? A whole lot of stuff. Just make sure it fits within the gates and it's not super long, so it's like got a uphill battle. But
bull gear,
dude, bull gear. That's the only reason I wear the flat bills. Now the glasses are taken away from it. The shaved beard's helping a little bit, but Can't negate crow's feet. Those just don't go away. So, but I need these to read because I got bifocals now.
Just
I
wait.
had no glasses until this a year ago, 2 years ago. Now I'm like bifocals with like the looking at my
Just wait.
camera lens because close. I have to like I'm looking at that with the camera on my shoulder. The screens here. I have to look at it like this at the bottom. I look like an idiot. But
Just wait, Tony. A few more years, you'll get a lot more of this in that beard of yours.
yeah, that's my kids like, dude, when you shaved, you look so much younger because all the gray disappeared. I'm like, but yeah. Flat bill helps. That's why I always wear hats. Ever since I started working from home, I get my hair just cut up and then I throw on a hat and a black t-shirt. Because if you ever watch Jim Gaffigan, you know why. But yeah, so I mean, for me personally, classes, I actually really liked GNRC, GNCRC, his live stream last night with, man, there's going to be too many C's in this. GNCRC with RCMCCA about their rules. It cleared up a lot for me. And I like it. I think it's cool what they're doing. Again, it's still not what I would personally run for simplicity at like a local club where you just want anybody to show up on a given night. Like we don't do like super comp nights where it's all about like a point series on Thursday nights. I would probably run their rules on like a Sunday morning series where it's like at Jeff's place. I'm just using dates, or Sunday is what Jeff runs, because definitely a class oriented, like it's there for a comp series. I could see running rules like that. But on Thursday night, when you're just trying to get people to come in and have fun, as simplified as you can. So even modifying those to the slightest degree to make it just kind of more open for people, I think is where it's at. And they even say that, like, they're like, just modify a little bit, do what works for you and with what you have showing up. And I think it's cool. So, but I like where they're going with it. I think it's a really cool idea. And I just want to see the 24 scale grow, whether it's the hobbyists at home building courses and making videos, and there's community there, even though it's like you're at home doing it yourself potentially, but there's multiple people at home doing it themselves and sharing it and commenting on each other's videos and giving tips and tricks and all that. I think that's just as cool as having 45 to 100 people show up on a Thursday night for a comp, so it's all good. Unknown RC knows where it's at. Grizzly Works RC. Flat bills don't really work with my head shape either. I'm always like maxing out the hat, and even that is tight, and I should do one more, but then it does a weird V duck bill in the back, and that just looks dumb. So even though it kind of hurts a little bit to wear, we just make it. I got a big head. We make it work. Everyone says I look smaller on camera than in person, and that's very, very not typical, because usually they say the camera puts on a whole bunch. I'm a big dude, so don't be messing.
Tough guy, Tony, right now.
Yeah.
Well, you said you wanted to keep this short. Are you sure you're still good?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I've been going 2:20. Wow.
Yep.
Wowie. We have the same head size, Tony. Pause. Oh, not touching that one with any length of stick. Not even going to go there. USTE. I'll be there. Yep. Unknown. I'll be at USTE. See you, Bull Gear. Uncle Lee out. Hey, and thanks, man, for making awesome stickers and stuff for all of us and banners and all that.
Yes,
the work
thank
that he
you.
does makes it easy for us to reach out and say, hey, I need more. I love it. See ya, Unknown RC. Grizzly Works RC, probably. Hey, Marcus. That was a long tip back. I'm waiting for another crack open.
Oh, I just ran out, so
They don't have enough koozies.
well, I didn't run out. I ran out of what's here. Oh no, I have koozies.
I should have kept keeping the third one cold. Yeah, it's going to be interesting finishing to packing here. Not very organized in general. I get a lot done not organized, but I don't finish a lot. Like,
Are you leaving early, or are you?
No.
Okay, good. Well,
our plan was not to leave till the afternoon so we can pack last minute stuff. But all my clothes and stuff are packed, and most of my camera gear, except for all of my additional stuff that I've been kind of harnessing on my desk here. There's a lot more than that, like that I have to just keep adding to stuff. And like, wait, I can make the pile bigger in the front here. And that's not. This is a nice little clamp. These are awesome. Got a little 1/4 inch on the top and the bigger size. Clamp it onto a tripod leg or whatever you need to clamp onto. All kinds of just junk. Well, and this needs to go too. This already has the clamp on it. So we'll just put that. These are expensive. Have you ever bought one of these? A Cine arm by Noga? Like Small Rig makes them, but they're weak and they don't hold position. These Israeli arm ones, they're awesome.
I have something similar to that, but it's not a good brand.
This is like $130 arm.
That's why I don't have one.
So stupid. But you never worry about your monitor falling and hitting the ground. Or
see, that's the thing too, though. That's your business.
Yeah.
As well. I mean, that's your.
I should have said, have you ever seen $130 write-off like this right here? That's what this is. You can't tax you on that $130.
Yeah.
Even with 86,000 new agents or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You may be seeing some involvement in the organization you were just talking about with banners and stickers, shades, and business cards. Grizzly Works. We'll see you, man. 1:30. Oh yeah, it is 1:30 here too. Cool. Now, am I stomping on Jason's? I thought he was Saturday nights.
He did. He does have his regular Saturdays, but he started adding the Fridays. I think 2 weeks ago.
I mean, he goes. You never know when he's going to go because he's got so many spontaneous nights too. So,
yeah, I think he started the Fridays about 2 weeks ago.
I was just going back to looking through the comments, and I saw the one about James's garage about going 5 minutes till. So,
yeah,
I didn't remember that. I just remembered I was curious if it was like a spontaneous one again or what. It's so hard to not step on another live these days, though.
It's very hard because they're popping up every day. Yeah.
I tried to wait till after Sean's had been going for a while and would be ending.
Yeah.
But that's the only one I knew of on Friday night was Sean's RCs.
Yeah.
And Harley does one every Friday night,
Right.
but that's a different audience. His Axial Pro comp build video was awesome. Like, I nerd out watching his stuff, like, because he's so technical about it.
Yeah.
Like, every part. I mean,
He said he tore the whole thing apart and reassembled it.
he did. So I was watching and he talked about that. And but he knows all of it so well. He's been doing it so long. He knows the real trucks. He knows the engineering side of it from being with Vanquish and working with companies. And so, like, when he's talking about their transmission, is like the Vanquish one, but it's got this or that. Like, the details that he knows, to the bearing sizes, to, like, it's crazy. So I listen like this most of the time. Like, most of it doesn't matter a whole lot to me, but I still am just blown away listening to him talk about the details and minutia of each thing.
Yeah.
It's amazing what he puts into those. Like, that is not a. So I understand why they say, like, when, like, videos or things get announced early, like, he put a crap ton of work into that video and the research and the just whether it's he actually spent the time now or it's just the accumulated knowledge he's put into it for that video over years of just being in the industry to just
Right.
be crapped on by just like a quick spec sheet that somebody sneaks from like a distributor email. And that's something I want to have. I want to do a whole podcast on why RC leaks will always exist. And I can give you a quick little tidbit of the reason why now, if you want.
Okay.
Because here's what I feel like it boils down to. So for somebody like Horizon, right? They want to release a product. The second you release the product, the day you release it, if you don't have a pre-order sign up, you're going to lose hundreds of sales, if not thousands, because the people that see it and are just like, I want it now, and go there and it's not there. But maybe, you know, like in a few days, they're not still thinking about it or something else comes out and they spent their money.
Right.
If they don't have that option to order like that day or pre-order that day, they have the potential of losing a bunch of sales, right? However, all of the shops, because they're also a distributor, they do their own sales, but they also are a company that has, you know, are a distributor to other shops. They then have to make it available to them to know so they can also be prepared and work on selling them that day or taking phone calls or whatever, being knowledgeable about the product. So if Horizon were to say, you know, we're just not even going to put up a pre-order, it screws them. It screws everybody, right? So they have to let shops know ahead of time. But there are so many people that own shops that in their community want to be the guy that knows everything, right?
Right.
For many, that may be why they own the shop. Like, they just are that kind of person that I'm the insider. I have all the knowledge, whatever. And they can't help themselves but share that. So they get the email and they share. It's always going to freaking happen. Like, and there's no way that they're going to stop it unless they just don't make it available to order the first day. And in doing that, they just lose out on however many sales that are potential that they're going to lose. That's, in my opinion, that's what it kind of boils down to. They're kind of screwed if they do or they don't, right?
Right.
So they either let the shops know that it's coming the night before, and all the shops, not all the shops, but a few of them tell somebody or send a screenshot of an email they got, or they go on the vendor site and they screenshot it. I can't tell you how many of the leaks they leave the URL up there, and it's only a vendor available URL. So it's a vendor that's gone in there in the back end sites and posted it. So it's if it doesn't leak somewhere else along the line from people just talking behind the scenes, working with it, and it gets out, it's always going to get leaked by the vendors. Always.
Yeah. Do you think there's a little bit of that, though, that these companies actually benefit from because it gets the hype going, so everybody's looking out for it the next day?
I think most of them are pissed when it comes
Yeah.
out. I mean, that's the vibe I've gotten from every one of them.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's like, well, the way I've described it to people is like a proposal, right? You're about to propose to somebody. You tell your buddy, dude, I just went and bought the ring. This is going down. Like, I'm going to propose. He tells somebody who tells a girl who then is a friend of a girl that is a friend of her, and they tell her ahead of time.
Right.
Right. So she's all kind of giddy about it, but it still screws the moment.
Yeah,
like,
it takes away the moment.
takes away that pizzazz of the person that has is their moment, and you've just screwed it. Like, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. There's not an easy way around it. It's just, I mean, how do you do it? Like, because they want the sales for sure, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
Whether it's through those shops or through their store, either way, it's sold like inventory that they've spent a lot of money to get brought in. So it's tough. But then, like, from the influencer side, all those guys that spent all that time, like Harley or whoever, preparing like this in-depth release of all the information they can figure out about it, and that's all just like, bam, here's a sheet, and people are just speculating and giving like false info or whatever, or asking for it ahead of time, and they're just like, no, just wait, like, we've spent hours doing this.
Yeah.
So, and again, even that, I don't know, being somebody that gets them, I've never honestly cared that much about that side of it, but I get how some people could be burnt by it, because there's been other ones where people have spoiled it, and I'm like, it didn't bother me, whatever, I'm just going to drop mine when it comes out. Like, I guess I didn't see their side of it till they kind of talked about it, but I don't know, I just see it differently. I'm pretty easy going about stuff too, so that doesn't help, but
so you just spoil your own things, like the Servo that's coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I want people to be excited about it. Like, I don't. There's no reason to hold that.
Right.
In. I got to announce it before anybody else.
Yeah,
I showed it to you because I just figured you were going to leak it somewhere, so I figured I might as well get out in front of it and show it.
I wouldn't do that unless I find a way for it to be a financial gain for me. I mean.
So yeah. All right, see Iowa budget. Yeah, so the problem with letting the shops know right at the same point, that's good for some, I guess. But there's some of the shops that also do online stuff, like A-Man and other people that have pre-orders to go the same day as. So they need to have a little time to get their web team to prep it and make sure they have a page ready for it with all the info. And so they can't just drop at the same time, because then the shops are like, well, you just stole the first pre-orders. Like, it's a really tough pill to have to swallow and deal with. But yeah, it's more the shops that have online that probably need to know ahead of time. But they also want them to be able to have printouts and a little bit of knowledge, so when people start calling them the next day, they can tell them, yeah, here's why you want it. Ship out to shops a few days before direct pre-order. Yeah, well, that's going to piss a lot of people off if some people start getting it before others that order. There's not an easy way. I'm sure they've talked about all these things, but it's a bummer.
And that backfires sometimes too, because they get it.
People like you don't get your TRX 4M for like a month.
And then they pick a guy that they trust that comes into the shop all the time, and then he ends up posting a video about it ahead of time.
Well, he's just saying that if you make sure the shop orders, even if they can't like post
Right.
about it until the day after, they get them before anybody that orders from online.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But then you get the
Well,
Traxxas problem where everybody they only launched it through stores, and
but they
everybody pre-ordered
botched.
through the stores, and they couldn't even fulfill the pre-orders.
Yeah, because they botched that whole thing.
They didn't. They can't help it. There's too many people wanted them.
But
They
why
couldn't
would they
even
take the
fulfill it.
orders? Why would they take the orders if they didn't have enough to send to the shops that did it? Because I liked the
Because
idea.
if you turn it away, people might not buy it later. At least at that point, they're locked in.
I liked the idea of them putting it in hobby shops before it was available online.
They did, but then some hobby shops are ordering 100, some are ordering 50, some are ordering 10. How do they delineate who gets what number? It's tough. Do the people that ordered 100 just because they ordered them first get them first? Or do you try and equally spread it out so that people all over the country get them in their shops? And they kind of went that route, it felt like, because some shops were getting like one of things.
Well, I'm not defending the shops because I have shops that didn't know what an actual AX24 was.
Make pre-orders only on Horizon website until the release day. No shops will want to deal with Horizon because they feel like Horizon is stacking the decks against them as the distributor and the store. So they're going to sell all of the first batch of them, and the stores are going to get stuck with stuff on their shelves. So stores just won't even order stuff. Like, you can't do that. Like, it's a tough. I mean, like, to figure it out is not easy. Like, yeah, it's not easy. So if you want stores to still put in huge monetary orders of your product, you can't do that to them where you always oversell them and be the first one to get all the main orders. Like, if you want first run, you got to get it from us, then get it from your hobby shop second. At that point, most of the people interested have already ordered. Like, it's just, that's what I'm just saying. There's no really good answer, and that's just why leaks happen.
Yeah.
Like, you just wish that those people like that sign an agreement, like if they could trace it back to them and say, hey, guess what? You don't get any new releases for like 2 months after they release because you botched it by telling people. Like, if they could do that to the companies, it might give them a reason to be hush hush. Like, I sign an agreement. I don't ever share information with that thing with anybody else that isn't also under an agreement. So, but yeah. But yeah, there's no easy way. And part of it just comes down to our greed and wanting things right away and to know about things the second they're going to. So it really comes down to us and our desire to know and people feeding into that because they realize that, hey, if I'm in the know, I'm cool, right? So it all stems from back to us because we have this intense desire. Like, you watched the Harley live stream on Wednesday night when they do it. Everybody, oh, it's leaked on here. What do you guys know about this? Or what do you know about that? Like, we just have this desire to be in the know, and as humans, and everything feeds into that. And it's hard to be somebody that's in the know and not feed into it. So, and not give up, because in doing so, you let people know that you know, and yeah, it's tough. Like, even me with that Vanquish, going into the shop and just not telling anybody that it was a new truck. Just trying to play off. Like, I didn't like talk about it in the place at all. Like, no audio about me saying this truck's doing this new stuff. Man, I've never had it ready to run this, done this. Like, I couldn't do any audio of it because it was just about getting the visuals and hoping it doesn't get spied on, and then just going back and narrating it later. Because it's my buddies are in there too, right? Like, it's tough.
I'm still here. I'm just going to get more fuel for my gas tank.
Well, I have to get an oil change. I have to get rid of this old fuel. Yeah, Jeff's right. It's about being in the know.
You want to be one of the cool kids, so you want to know ahead of time.
Yep. I like it. Like when things come out, I had no idea. I love it. There's been a couple releases where the companies haven't told anybody, and they just kind of drop it, and it's so cool. And then the influencers get it. Like which one? The AX24? No, the UTB18. Nobody had it, right? Axial dropped it. I was actually like, I was complaining about their video, not necessarily their truck, but I'm like, we can't tell the scale of this thing. And then I saw later that night, RC Sailor said they got their shipment in the day that it was announced. They got it in the mail, so they didn't have it already. And then I got a scale of it because of they were holding it, and it, they were running on things that gave it kind of perspective versus the terrain that actually drove it on for the video, which was a cool video, except it lacked any sense of scale.
Right.
And it turned out it was huge. Like it's way bigger than anybody expected it to be as 18 scale. Which I was like, why didn't they do like tractions where they drove over some books and they did all this stuff? And I realized, because it would show how big it is, and it's not an 18 scale. Like that wouldn't have worked. So,
I guess coming from being older, that lack of that surprise of something just showing up that's available, it's like that Sears Christmas catalog. That when you would get that, and all of a sudden there were these new things, there were these new toys, these new, it was,
Yep. Or you get the new RC Car Action magazine. You're like, wait, what's this? There's a new something coming out. There's like an ad for it in there. It's the first time you'd seen it. Nobody's like leaking it. Like it's, the element of surprise is so much harder in 2023. So much harder. Oh, Grizzly Works. That's true, man. He said when he was in the bike industry. All right, I gotta go.
Okay.
Hide for 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, not me.
Oh, wrong person.
Wrong button.
We know about release month ahead of time. Yeah, it's got to be tough for people in the shops or whoever. Just like when we get that information ahead of time, it's hard to just kind of keep it to yourself too. I mean, obviously we don't have any contractual obligations to it, but it's fun to kind of know that information ahead of time. It's always fun to just, be one of the few that knows something, and you want to share it. It's human nature, I guess. Testing the Phoenix before release and making sure no one spotted it. Yeah. Yeah, I guess Tony pulled that off when he went to Reaction with it. People just thought, oh, he got a different body for it. M-Dub, no. I wasn't alive in the 50s, but yeah, I get what you're saying. No, I guess, I get that. It's the whole surprise factor of it, and it does get rid of a little bit of that element, but I think it's just, for me, it's a little bit different because it's that surprise factor, that anticipation is what I know him tough. That anticipation is what the buildup of it is that get people whipped up into a frenzy about a particular release or, whatever. I think that there's some positives to those leaks and everyone getting the buzz out. Even if a leak doesn't actually happen where what it actually is, it gets that buzz out there and people anticipating it and wanting it. So, but if it financially hurts them, then I could see the downside of that. But honestly, I don't think that Axial or Traxxas are suffering or hurting, and Horizon in general. They're not going out of business anytime soon. It's the smaller companies, when something like that would happen to them, that I think it would hurt them more. Just my opinion. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Yeah, I think for a lot of us, the tech part of it is a big deal for those that are deeper into the hobby, knowing more technically what it offers compared to just some flashy picture. Where a lot of people, that's what they will buy things for, and I mean that's how advertising works. Is you buy something based on your first impression of seeing a product or the packaging on it. I mean, all that stuff is very well thought out. To just get you on the first look. But yeah, I think for those of us that have been in the hobby or whatever it is that you're into, you really look into all the specs of things and the technical aspects of it, and what can it do, what does it say it has as far as motors or approach angles, different things, or whatever it is, all the features about it, and you can make your decisions.
Don't stop.
Oh, I told him a bunch of lies about you while you were gone.
Okay, I thought so.
Well, some of it was true. Most of it was true. It was bad, but it was mostly true.
Like what you said about Jason the other day.
Shut up.
So, Dirk, you were into RC a long time ago. You have some old Tamiya's to prove it.
Yes.
What brought you back to RC?
My kids got older, and I managed to Actually, what actually brought me back was the pandemic. I still had my RCs. I just didn't do anything with them, partially because with my job and as far as I live from my work, driving. I was also in a van pool commuting. So it was like a 15-hour day from start to finish, then get home and then get homework done with all the kids that needed help. And then I don't have any time for myself before I even need to go back to sleep again to get up the next day to do the same thing again. And then the weekend was trying to, recuperate.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have that time. Once I regained some of that because of the pandemic, which, I tried to find positives about it, and I did. I regained my hobby. I regained some more me time that I wasn't wasting in 3+ hours a day in traffic. And then on top of that, with the van pool, I would get to work 40 minutes before my schedule would start, because the van pool ran at a different time.
And you had to get there before it started instead of after. Right.
And then I would leave. When I got off of work, I would have to go wait until the van pool got there. So it was a very long day. But yeah, that's what got me back into it. And because during the pandemic, that's what got me into the 24s, because at that time, that's when they really blew up too, because they had just come out. It was a perfect rig.
Come out. 2019. Come out.
Yeah. And it was a perfect rig for the situation we were all in.
Yep.
So, no, Maz, it's not a rant.
Can we turn it into one somehow? Get him going, Maz.
We could easily. Hey, James, you're back.
No, so that's funny, because Jason also, who you completely annihilated in that text stream that you had, also said that he got into it during COVID. Picked it up.
I mean, I started in the RC hobby when I was 14 with my first hobby grade RC, the Frog.
Yeah.
But I've been in and out of it over the years. I was in it for many years. And then once we started having kids, I got out of it for a few years. And then I'd, have a little bit of money and say, oh, I want to get that new this, or I want to get that. Or like even back when Axial first came out with that AX10, I was like, oh, I'm going to get into that, because I was one of the guys that was taking the clodbusters and making crawlers out of them. Yeah. And I was like, shit, I'm going to buy that. So I got into that, stayed in it for a bit, but then fell out of it again because money was tight, or this or that, or no time or whatever. But yeah, I got back into it now, and I don't want to go away from it again. I'm deeper into it than I ever was.
That's what she said.
Okay. I was waiting.
Yeah. Somebody commented on the video on Jason's video that I did. He was way more positive about it than you were. That just for anybody watching, he was very positive about it. I'm just messing with him, trying to make it seem like he wasn't.
Right, because Tony actually asked my opinion about it, sent me the video, and then fell asleep.
I went to sleep.
Did not respond for many, many, many hours.
Yeah.
Even though you said you only slept for 2 hours.
I did. And I had to wake up, take my kids to school. I literally was waiting. And I'm like, it's an 8-minute video, 9-minute video. Like, I'm sitting there waiting for your response. You say, I'm going to watch it now. I totally fell asleep waiting. Like, I woke up, my phone's like on my chest. And I woke up, I'm like, my phone is dead pretty much, like zero. So, like, the whole way to school, I had it plugged in my car. Came back home, started editing again, fell asleep again for 4 hours. I needed sleep, but yeah. Anyway, I don't know where we were going.
You were saying Jason had a similar story because he
got yeah. So on his video at the bottom, somebody said, "Oh, it's so great. I was making videos about these 10 years ago. It's so good to see they're still popular." And I'm like, 10 years ago? Like, there wasn't an SCX-24 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But they were only 4 years ago. Like, they came out in 2019 that I remember, because before that was the ECX Barrage. Like, it was cool. It was a Unimog. It was so cool, except it sucked really bad. Had little tools with it and like a little shovel and all that crap.
Yeah.
But it drove. It was basically the Team Associated one. The Element, like, as far as drive capability, is like very on off, like full power, no power.
I wonder if he was just referring to the scale, because he could be going further back to the.
He could be going back to the. But he said SCX-24.
Oh well, yeah, that's not accurate.
Yeah, so I was thinking maybe it means SCX-10s, but
did he say 24 and SCX-24?
Yeah, SCX-24 in the comment. I didn't call it out, but it's just kind of one of those, like, they haven't been, like, 24s have been around. Like, Red Cat's made them. A lot of people have made them, but the SCX-24 I feel like is the first one that's really like stuck.
Right.
So, but yeah, there's been all kind of different bashers and crawlers and different things. Proline had one. RC 4-wheel drive had
Low C, didn't they? They had one.
Yeah, right? the night crawler style or whatever. And then, I'm sure they had all their own somewhat popularity, but I feel like these have gone insane popularity, and probably COVID had something to do with it. I'm not going to lie. I was
about to say, I think that had a lot to do with it.
But now it feels like they've got the staying power because the aftermarket is so around it.
Right.
Unlike most things that I've seen, it's like Traxxas / aftermarket. Like, it's everywhere. Mini Revo was awesome. Grizzly Works. 1/16th, and they had the monster trucks, like the mini monster, the grave diggers. Those are cool. But yeah, I'm excited about where it's gone, where it's came from. Who cares where it started, which one? It's in a good spot, and there's a ton of aftermarket for it now, and it seems like people realize it. So the second the Traxxas came out, they knew it would be just as good, and the aftermarket was like, "Hey, we're here the day of." Yeah. Like, so. But the other ones just didn't kind of pick that up. Even though the Proline Ambush one or whatever, is it Proline Ambush? What's the Proline one, the little one?
Is that the one with the leaf springs?
Somebody's got to know in the chat.
I know Dustin has one.
125th. Yeah, 125th crawler, Proline Ambush. Those are the cool looking body, like a scout-ish body.
Yeah.
I would kind of dig one of those right now, honestly. I like the look of it. But
Isn't it
people talking
leaf
about I
spring?
prefer surprise. Dude, somebody's ragging on you about the 1950s or the
Yeah,
50s, how the
I
50s
saw that. That
the
was
Sears
that was M Dub.
catalog.
That was M Dub.
Oh, it was MDub?
Yeah,
Uh,
glad you pointed that out again.
yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Tony.
I was waiting. It came in. I sat back down and I saw it, and I didn't want to interrupt.
Wanted to wait for that right moment to strike.
Yeah. I was looking at the other chat and remembered it. But yeah, I mean, I don't have as many as Jason.
Well,
Maybe I do.
in 24s, maybe not, but in overall
18 and
RCs,
24.
you've got him.
Well, I think if I do 18 and 24 and I count the monster trucks, I do. I got quite a bit.
He's getting into the monster truck soon, isn't he?
I don't know.
I think he is.
I'm waiting. Just a little bit before I get too into it. But I think the right now, if I were to get into them, I would do the Max Smasher as my starting point right now. And even FureTech's kind of gotten behind that one because of the axles.
Yeah.
Because those original axles were the worst part of that monster truck. I like it. I still have mine, the one that I had from FureTech, the blue one.
Yeah.
But because those knuckles pop off, I mean, I just glue mine on and make a solid axle. But yeah. We wouldn't admit it if we had as many. But we have a lot of hangers here. With the pull trucks too. And the ones in boxes waiting to be built. That's the real problem. So.
But you love building.
All right, go man, go. Dana, it's been awesome. 2 a.m. I got to go too here. Okay, I have to sleep. So I gotta get up. And I don't like being tired when I drive because speaking of the older age, I do the like head bob thing where I get off the road because I don't want to fall asleep while I'm driving. And I eat and I walk around and I wake up and then I get back on the road. I don't like that head bob thing. Not cool. So anyway, dude, it's been fun.
Yes, thank you for this.
It's been good.
It's been a good time.
Real good. My next live will be Tuesday from Florida after fishing out on the Gulf with my boys. I'm taking them on a fishing excursion.
Oh, so you are still you and Pablo are doing the Tuesday.
I guess. I'm sure we will. Why not?
Yeah.
If we have internet.
Okay, cool.
I'll do something. But I don't have anything really to do Wednesday. I start working Thursday through Sunday. So I'll just get stuff ready, but it'll be kind of a lazy day. But I'm not sure how I'll make it happen. We rented a Airbnb and it's kind of small. Really small. It's got 2 bedrooms and like a room that has a kitchen, and there's no dining room table, but there's kind of like 2 chairs for like the living room area. There's not a lot of seating indoors or workspace. I'm going to be sitting at a counter like trying to edit and do stuff. So I got to be quiet because the bedrooms are like right there. It's this tiny like cinder block square home in the middle of horse country out there. So we'll see how that goes. I might get shut down early for being too loud. If my wife comes out like, you got to stop. We're trying to sleep. So,
well,
yeah, it'll be interesting. But we'll try and do it because we want to definitely try and raise more money for that build. And talk about stuff going on. So, but anyway, man, it's been fun hanging out. We don't get to do it very often.
Yeah. It was good. And thanks everybody in the chat for hanging out for this
so long.
Hate fest from Tony.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't hating. I was just talking about the hate you spread about Jason when we were talking about his video. So, no. Anyway, guys.
All right.
We'll catch y'all later. Thanks, Dirk.
No problem.
Hater.
See you guys.